arrived.
We here, baby. What's up, man? Hotep Con 2022. Second annual. It's up.
Who's going to court? Uncle Hotep. Where's she at? Did you tell her to come to passenger pickup?
It's lit.
Kim, it's Hotep Jesus. We'll be back. Yeah, we were just talking about that today. Got the balloons.
No, we really flew spirit. We flew spirit airline. Who flies spirit airline? On purpose. Who does that? You never catch me.
I've seen it. I was like,
Yo, I ain't never flying Frontier again. Jump seats. Every seat was a jump
Did I tell you about that?
Every seat was a jump seat. That hurt.
Frontier's like
Wow.
it's just a glorified spirit.
Didn't I just tell y'all they be having them jump seats, yo? That's what they call jump seats.
The entire plane jump seat.
Yes.
Nothing but who's play? You got nothing but candles.
You?
Everybody from Montreal used to play that. That was a classic.
That was a classic?
Yeah. In Pennsylvania, that was a classic.
Was it?
That shit came out.
NIE.
Yeah.
No, because it was the one. Something that was one that was Super Thug.
Yeah, Super Thug.
Yeah, the one with
It
Big
had
Pun
the
on
one,
it.
yeah, the one with Pun on it. That was a classic.
That was
That was a
the
good
song in
album.
the album.
Orange, yeah, orange.
Orange with the orange drink.
Orange drink.
I'm here, it's orange drink. I can't read that.
We doing bad out here, people.
The hot, yeah.
We doing
Hot
bad out
spicy or
here.
the hot?
No, that's spicy.
They gonna go on the internet, they gonna say these niggas is some
No,
fake
not the hot,
Hoteps.
yeah.
They not following the Dr. Sebi diet. This nigga just ordered a chicken sandwich. Canada just
4 beef
opened,
spicy
just
chicken.
ordered a Big Mac.
You know, this nigga just ordered sawdust with salt on it.
Hey yo, Brody, turn mine into another one.
And then
No pickles on my Big Mac.
Pause.
you seen the show Hotep's Been Told You? All right, look it up right now on your phone while I'm waiting for my food. Hotep Jesus right there. So tell all the crew. So you just waited on. You guys can use these for Hotep Been Told You, or we could do this high top like we did.
Oh baby, it's so lit. It's so lit. We got our wonderful Lady Hoteps here. Trish. This is just such a wonderful guy. Exactly. Shit looking professional. This is Cisco sponsor.
Nice.
Yeah. He brought the advantage of it, so I'm gonna. Welcome. heaven. You got two of my moms here with me. I'm in heaven right now. Move that table over to the left a little bit.
Okay.
You see him finesse a little white girl out of a fresh cup of coffee and Hotep Jesus. And y'all know him, y'all love him. The called purveyor himself. Uncle Hotep, get your ass out here.
Thank you, King. Everybody, clap for King Hotep.
Y'all know the deal. We go in for real. It ain't got no chill. Teach me how to grip. 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 Hotep and build. Y'all know the deal. We go in for real. It ain't got no chill. Teach me how to grip. 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 Save the date if you not.
What I heard, and what is probably true, it was invented in Tijuana, Mexico, in a restaurant called Caesar. So I always pay homage to the people that invent something somewhere, and I like to bring some limes in because that's more Mexican than lemons. But so we're gonna mix them both to make some perfect Caesar dressing. Classic ingredient, Worcestershire sauce. My own touch to the classic Caesar, a little Tabasco.
I'd like to say that it is an absolute blessing to be in the presence of people and have you guys with me tonight. And only a female God can make something like that happen. Let's bless the hands that prepared this food, and let's bless the mouths that will enjoy this food. In Mother God's name, amen. Amen, right.
What's up, people? We back. Yo, what's going on with my green screen now? Here we go, I guess. Whatever. What up, man? How y'all feeling? It's Thursday, Hotep Thursday.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Hotep Jesus? I love that guy. He's terrific.
It's a grifty Thursday. Hotep Goldstein said it's griftest season. The grift bag is full today. Shout out to Syscoin. Shout out to the Syscoin team. Jag, Patrick, Nathan, whole squad over there. Alex. What up, y'all? Y'all got Syscoin in y'all wallet? Don't say Hotep. I don't want to hear Hotep's been told you if you ain't got no Syscoin in your wallet. Next year, you're going to be like, Hotep, you never told me. No, I told you. Every episode I went live, I told you. Syscoin, man, get in the game. You can get it on Binance.us. It just hit another exchange. Big things moving over there. Don't say I didn't tell you. Don't say I didn't tell you. Anyway. Supposed to have Syscoin at the back of that video. We got to fix that. I got to tell Tate put the Syscoin logo at the back of that video, but it's all good. So that footage you watched beforehand, obviously that was Hotep Con last year's Hotep Con. That was the second annual. This will be the third annual. Amazing time, amazing time. So excited, so excited, so excited. Let's get into the Grift Report. 2 p.m. every day, Eastern time. Make sure y'all don't miss it. We here Monday through Friday. Oh, baby. Let me reach into the bag. We got a mixed bag today. We got a mixed bag of grift today. All right, let's start right here. This is 2 days in a row we had to check out Jeff Charles. I could have sworn I set that up. All right, here we go. Jeff Charles, he said the Republican Party using the government to keep third parties off the ballot in Texas. And he has an article here on Red State. You'll be able to see it in just a moment. Why does it look like that? Hold on. Something ain't right. There we go. So here's this article here. He says Texas Republicans attack on third parties and effort to silence competition. And then, I think he wrote this. Yeah, Jeff Charles wrote this. And he mentions here, however, if this bill passes, these parties will be forced to conduct primaries, estimated to cost an additional $9 million per election per party. Coupled with the existing $10 million expenses for running primaries and runoffs, the overall election costs would nearly double from $20 million to $40 million. This means that both the parties and the taxpayers will be paying much more to have primary elections. Moreover, these races typically have low turnout, with less than 25% of registered voters participating, making the increased expenditure unnecessary. I don't really like the whole, it's a huge attack from both sides on third parties. Both sides hate third parties. I remember once upon a time, there was this thing called the Anti-Mason Party. Let's see if we can find that. This is the original third party. So it says here the Anti-Masonic Party was the earliest third party in the United States. So the first third party in the United States was actually the Anti-Masonic Party. And why? Because they understood that America had a uniparty. So people today go, oh, it's a uniparty, it's a uniparty. Well, it's been a uniparty. And mostly because the people of this time period understood that both parties were controlled by Freemasons. And I believe what happened was, I forget who it was, but the way that the Anti-Mason Party lost was one of these men basically just took up the talking point and then negated them. They took up the talking point of being anti-Mason, and then they won the election. But this is something, put on your desk. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I put on your desk. Go ahead and do your studies on this, the Anti-Mason Party. But this is the first third party, and they've been trying to get rid of, or defeat third parties. And this goes back. This is founded 1828. Let's go back in the grift bag. Reach my hand up in here. We got it. Let's pull this up on the screen. We got to talk about this. Hold on. I forgot to take my master focus. I just had my morning apple. I'm on my frugivore diet right now, trying to slim down for Hotep Con. Hold on. Let me take my, you see the official red pill. Master focus. Official red pill. Hold on. This is my superpower. Hold on. There we go. All right, let's get it. Back in the grift bag. Let's pull this up on the screen. What is going on here? Now, Baked Alaska sent this to me. I didn't know what to expect, but from this shot right here alone, I was alarmed. I was absolutely alarmed. And I'll just say trigger warning for some of you. But let's take a look at this.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just have a banana. Just eat the banana. Eat the banana. It's going to be okay. Eat the banana.
Now, first of all, I'm just waiting for the backlash for somebody to say this is racist because this is a white man feeding a black man a banana, basically equating him to a monkey or gorilla.
Banana. Eat the banana.
But that's not the problem I have with this clip.
Stick it in your mouth. Stick it in your mouth. Stick it in your mouth.
Look at Ian's face. Look at Ian's face. But in this clip, I want you to keep an eye on the black man.
Stick it in your mouth. Stick it in your mouth. Stick it in your mouth. Stick it in your mouth.
See the black man in the back?
Stick it in your mouth. Stick it all the way in there. Get it in there. Get it in there. Get it all the way in. As deep as it'll go. Okay. All right.
See the black man? He don't even want to look. Black man don't even want to look. He like, yo, what the hell is going on? Where am I? You couldn't do this shit around me. I'd have walked off the set. I wouldn't have been on this screen. If this would have happened with me in the room, I'd have walked off the set till they got done. I'd have came back after they were done doing whatever the hell this is. But yeah, you wouldn't be able to have me in this same clip.
What kind of gerbils eat into the cheek?
That's good. Keep eating it. Suck on the banana. Oh, don't drop the banana. Keep sucking on it. You're not finished yet. All the way to the finish. There. I'm sorry.
I want to find the response to this from Baked Alaska himself. So obviously, you know, daily I asked the grift of the day, and I told him, yep, going into the grift bag, and he said conservative influencer, by the way. Conservative influencer. And this person says, I pray Hoteps refuse to dance for that clown if he ever tries to send you guys 10K. Talking about Trump, and if Trump wants to send me 10K, well, mama ain't raised no fool.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
But this is not the way, y'all. Alex, this is not the way, y'all. And I'm not laughing because what you're doing is funny. I'm laughing to keep from crying. This is not it, bro. This ain't it.
Eat the banana.
This is not it. I need y'all to tell Alex chill out with the weird stuff, the homo stuff. It's not what we doing, bro. We not doing this. We played the suspect video. He had another suspect video last week or the week before. I like Alex Stein. I think he's a good guy. He's on the right side, but sometimes, man, he just takes it too far. And that's not it. That is not it. That's a huge pause moment. You'll never catch me and Uncle Hotep doing anything remotely close to this. At all. Like nowhere near close. Okay? That's like a whole nother universe from what we occupy. Let's go back in the grift bag. It's nasty out here. The grift is absolutely nasty out here. We're going to cover Trump. But we got a lot of stuff to cover with Trump. We got some relationship stuff to talk about. Let me put this on your screen real fast. A little bit of information. You know, we like to keep y'all informed. Breaking. President Biden is planning to issue new rules on asylum in the United States. According to new rules, people who cross the border illegally will be banned from entering the U.S. for 5 years and could face felony charges. Reaction PR says this is called expedited removal and has been on the books for years. Entering illegal is a misdemeanor, according to U.S. Code 1325. If they're pushing for a felony, that means that Crime Bill Biden is back. Crime Bill Joe back. Now all of a sudden, they're hard on the border. Pause. Now all of a sudden, they want to, try and stop immigration. Isn't that what the talking point of the right was? Isn't that what Trump campaigned on? Build the wall. And now he wants to lock these people up, could be charged with a felony. Is this what's happening in our Biden America? Is this what's going on? Wild. Absolutely wild. And you don't hear anything about it. Nobody complains. Nobody complains. Nobody says anything. Nobody calls Joe xenophobic. Absolutely amazing. I mean, I wouldn't say I don't agree with the move. Obviously, I agree with the move, right? Be hard on the border, pause. But no. It's just hypocrisy. And you know what the sad part is about this is this was a main thing for Trump in his campaign, that he wanted to combat immigration, illegal immigration, I should say. And what happened? There was a lot of pushback. And then now you want to do exactly what Trump was doing. So basically what you did was you wasted our time, you wasted taxpayer money, and you made the border more dangerous than it had to become. So what'd you do? We were at a point where we were going to start to resolve problems at the border. You made them worse, and now you want to try and patch up what you made worse, as if the problem wasn't bad enough in the beginning. Derelicts in Congress, bro. Derelicts. Let's go back in the grift bag. Back in the grift bag. We got a lot of Trump. Let's go here. Let's go into black culture. I want to show you guys a little bit of black culture. This is very interesting. We got some Nick Fuentes fight video. We're going to cover that next, actually. But let's go into black culture. I want y'all to see this. Just so y'all are clear. Because your favorite grifter is going to lie to you and tell you, you know, how black people think. Now, we got this guy right here, Shaheem, a.k.a. Dr. Durag. I don't know what that is. He says the nuclear family model is white supremacist. Western trash and aspiring towards it will set you up for failure and social isolation. Full stop. Now, just to be clear, you know, what people are proposing is that, you know, you have big families. So you have an extended family, like a village family. So you have your family and an extended family. And that is one argument. I don't know if that's the argument he's making, but that's an argument other people making. I don't have a problem with that. But saying like the nuclear family model is white supremacist is just like a huge reach. But I want you to see the response from Black Twitter. This girl says, anyone who agrees with this dimwit can unfollow and get blocked because what the F? Another black girl responds and goes, no brain. Just dryer lint balls rolling around in there. Savage. Look right here. Sugar Plum Princess. See the sister, right? Black woman. All right. What she say? Pronouns and all. Never effing fails. People are so brainless. You see what I'm saying? The black community ain't playing around. They ain't playing around. They're not with the whole agenda. I just showed you in the clip with Alex Stein. They weren't playing around. You know, the black man, he definitely was not playing around with this homo behavior. But the black community ain't going for it. I just want to show that to y'all before we go to our next piece of black culture. Black conservatism gone wrong. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. Black conservatism gone wrong. And this guy right here, he says, if you put millions of dollars into the hands of every black Californian, he's talking about reparations, obviously. He said, you will see more armed robbery. You will see more black on black crime. You will see more drug use, specifically cocaine, a rich drug. You will eventually see severe debt due to lack of financial literacy. Now, this is just a horrible take. Before we dive into each one of these bullet points he lays out here, the optics are off here. The optics are off here. And I don't want to hear the whole, we don't care about optics, because you do. Because you do. You do care about optics. I've heard your best grifters say the optics. They said it when they were dealing with me. They said, oh, we don't know if we want to work with Hotep Jesus because of the optics. The optics. So the optics matter. So I don't want to hear that the optics don't matter. They do. Okay. And this is not how you're going to win the black vote. It's not how you're going to win the election. But again, and I'm going to show you in the next tweet, what's in play here. But first of all, he says if you put millions of dollars into the hands of every black Californian, you'll see more armed robbery, and that's just not true. That makes absolutely no sense. If you have money, why would you rob somebody? Duh. More black on black crime. No, because you give black folks $1 million, they probably won't be around niggas. They're gonna be on vacation. They're gonna move. They're gonna go to Atlanta. They're gonna go somewhere else. They're gonna move. That's like the first thing a lot of people are gonna do. They're gonna move. They won't even be in California anymore. They won't be in those type of environments. He said you will see more drug use, specifically cocaine, a rich drug. Now that I don't agree with either. Now, is there gonna be more drug use? I think there's a strong case to say there's gonna be more drug use, depending on what drug you're talking about. But is it going to be cocaine? No, I can see cats getting massive amounts of marijuana, potentially. Maybe some of them would do some lean, but I don't know that many black people that is sniffing cocaine. Like that's usually like a white drug. That's a Hollywood drug. You know, cats usually just get high off weed or drink lean, or the technical term is promethazine. Xanax, and what's the other one? Prozac. Is it Prozac? I'm thinking Xanax and Prozac. Okay, that might be plausible. So really what this tells me is this guy knows nothing about black people. He doesn't even know the drugs that we do. Like, does this guy even listen to hip hop? Because hip hop will tell you what drugs we do. It ain't cocaine. We're not doing cocaine. We don't sniff stuff. We smoke and we pop pills. Now, that's not me, but I know the culture, and this is what people in the black drug use culture, these are the drugs they prefer. Now, if you want to know a real take, you'd have to go to Dave Chappelle's show where he talks about black folks getting reparations. He did a spoof on this. He did a whole bit. And in his bit, it was just people going out spending money on Gucci. And like, so if he would have said, yo, you know, if you put $1 million in the hands of the black Californian, they're going to go out and buy Gucci, Uncle Hotep would have been, right there with you. I want to hear what Uncle Hotep says about this tweet, actually. We're going to bring this up tonight on the show at 8 p.m. Uncle Hotep, the premiere show on his channel. Absolutely fun time. But this is just terrible. This is just terrible optics right here. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Let me separate this out. I thought, oh, that's why it didn't come up, because I had separated the screens already. So, hold on. Let me make sure it looks good on your screen. Okay, good. Y'all good. All right. I just want to make sure you guys are good. So this is just terrible, man. It's inaccurate. It's tasteless, but most of all, it's grifty, and I'm gonna show you how. Hold on a second. Let me find it. Where is it? And this guy is saying exactly what we've been saying for a really long time. Let's go here. Put this on the screen. So Konstantin Kisin said, if I had the time, I would actually do this. I think I could build up a Twitter account from 0 to 100K in a few months. It's so easy. People generally think that someone who always tells them what they want to hear is on their side. I could do it as left or right too. So he goes here, he says right-wing version, hot girl, criticize feminism, men are demonized, criticize wokeness, praise right-wing politicians, use words like cuck a lot, guns if America, we are sending money to Ukraine, we'll never date a man who's vaccinated, my future husband. And he's absolutely right. There's a lot of, I'm not gonna say a lot, there's a handful, there's a good amount of white girls who are attractive, who follow this blueprint, and they have a large following. Because like I told you before, if you really want to come up in this world, just affirm people's biases, right? And that's why I think the Hoteps are a bit different, because we're going to affirm your bias, but we're also going to say things you don't like too. And I think that's why, we stand out from the rest of the crowd. And then he goes on to the left-wing version. The only thing is he missed was reparations. Reparations is a big talking point. If you down talk reparations, you can be popular too. And that's the blueprint that this other guy was following. He's following the same grifty blueprint, right? And then we go to his profile, we see exactly what he's all about. Ex-BLM activist, PragerU personality, the typical Con Inc. stuff. Now, he's got what? 124,000. And what did the other guy say? The other guy said, I could get an account to 100,000 just affirming biases, playing hard right or hard left. Okay? So that's what this guy is doing here. You know, we got to nominate him for a grifty.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Yeah, I just want him to do better. You know, I'm not like saying like cancel this guy or anything. It's just like, it's tasteless when you say. So let's go here. Mr. Yancey says, damn, you seriously think this poorly about black people? And he said, if you put millions of dollars recklessly into the hands of black people through reparations, you're telling me that there wouldn't be repercussions? You really think that money will be used in a productive way and not lead to consequences? Stop using emotions and use logic. Now, that's better than his tweet. Like saying, okay, there are going to be repercussions, unforeseen repercussions and consequences. The money might not be used in a productive way. Say that. That's not what you said. You basically said everybody's going to turn into a thug crackhead. Like what? Like how do you even come to that conclusion that that's what would happen? Anyway, no emotion. You just have a really poor thought on black people. You said financial literacy. Right. I'm black. I take half that and 7X it without even blinking. Just signed for 96 acres yesterday. That's 1,300 acres for us. And you'd claim I do coke. Yeah, you on coke. He said, look at how things get disastrous for people who win millions of dollars from the lottery. There are black people who would do great things with the money, but most people would not. Everyone says they'd be smart with millions of dollars, but few people know how to manage money. So, you know, I think there are things we can talk about in this conversation, and we can argue and we can speculate and, you know, project on what the future looks like. But the fact of the matter is, I know the game this guy is playing, and he's playing towards the red-white bias of please, black man, say no to reparations, and we will make you king. Let's go back in the grift bag. Enough of that. We're going back in the grift bag. Nick Fuentes had a fight at CPAC. Oh, my Lord. Now I'm going to play this. You know, I checked the YouTube rules. YouTube rules said you can't play anything gory or violent or bloody or anything that's like triggering. And this fight is definitely not triggering. So I want to just play this and then comment on it.
Wait, you need to stop. You need to stop. Don't fucking touch him. Stop. Yeah, we will. Sure. Just fucking stop.
You just walk away.
So, first thing I want to touch on here is old boy in the back right here. You see this guy right here in the background? Okay. If this were black people, right? Let's say Nick Fuentes is Uncle Hotep. And you kick Uncle Hotep in front of me. You just won't be fighting only Uncle Hotep, okay? Now, people have criticized... So again, you know, when they say, you know, how white men fight, you know, this is how white men fight, I guess. That's what, you know, they said Tucker said, or that's what Tucker said. Now, black folks, we would have jumped to. And I'm not saying you should do that. You should not do that. You should not fight. You should always try to de-escalate, you know, disclaimer. But usually in the black culture, you would have got your ass whooped by both of them. Okay, so this is different. Which tells me this guy in the background is a bit of a wuss, okay? And I don't want to diss him. I don't want him to be mad at me if he sees this video. You know, I'm just saying, you know, you're not exactly a tough guy, and you don't have to be. I'm just pointing out that you're not a tough guy, but you wouldn't have kicked Uncle Hotep in front of me. I'm just telling you that right now, okay? And so let's go here. So this whole, you know, patty cake thing that they're doing here, I know people have criticized them, you know, for this whole patty cake moment. You know, they're like holding hands. I don't know what this is. This is like some sort of wrestling match. And that's a little pansy. I'm not going to hold you. That's a little pansy. You know, I guess it's more like a test of strength. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But after the kick, I am fond of how Nick responded. Now, some people have said, you know, Nick punches like a bitch or something like that. But I think the body language from Nick in this situation is basically saying, I'm not afraid of you. And I'm judging that because his punch isn't a punch like I'm in a fight. His punch is a punch like you punch your little brother. And that's what told me that Nick was not afraid of this dude. Because he punched him like, that's how you like, you hit on your little brother when you're like, you kind of want to just bully him a little bit or something like that. So Nick wasn't trying to like knock the guy out. It was more like it was more like a, teach him a lesson, a spanking, right? So I really enjoyed seeing Nick stand his ground. I think this is great for Nick's brand. I think it's great for his reputation, because the last thing you want to do is look like a punk on screen and get your ass whooped, especially by somebody who is, somewhere around your size and doesn't look to be, a clear threat, right? Now, if this guy was like, 6'8", 300 pounds, I fully would expect Nick to run, because it's just not a fair fight, right? Unless you're like, a jujitsu master or something like that, then okay, maybe you can take somebody that's twice your size. But if somebody's twice your size and you're fighting, you should probably get some help or run, okay? But yeah, looking at this situation, I like this. I like this behavior from Nick. This is absolutely amazing work here from Nick. Very calm, very cool, very collected, and even the walk away.
Sure. Just fucking stop.
Dude, just walk away.
In the Yeezy boots. Did you see the Yeezy boots? I think those are Yeezy. I think there's a Yeezy rain boots. Did you see the Yeezy rain boots? Now, if you get beat up by a white nationalist in some Yeezy boots, oh, that's embarrassing. Hold on, I gotta take a break. I'll be right back in 60 seconds.
Didn't listen to me then, I bet they feel me now. Tom, don't let me lose it. The booth not about to prove it. I said goes and pursue it. You the best to never do it. Invest my money talking fluent, stupid, ducking the Judas. It broke my heart, but open my eyes. You have no honor, I have no choice. Chasing the commas till I'm a goner. Been left for a minute. On my way home, mama, I promise. Got caught up in it. Damn, everybody.
My bad. So yeah, getting your ass beat by a white nationalist in Yeezy boots is definitely not a good look. Unless Ye paid me, I'm definitely not wearing rain boots unless it's raining. And maybe it was raining that day. If it was raining that day, then super fly of Nick. So yeah, I think some people may disagree with my take on this, but Nick definitely did not appear to be threatened by this individual, and this is a great look for him. Let's go back in the Grift bag. Trish, you shout out. I haven't been looking at the chat. I'm checking out the chat now. What up, y'all? Cash's kid. I knew Cash's kid was going to have something to say because he a fighter. Hold on. Let's go back. We're going to open up phone lines in a little minute. Let y'all comment. Get your rocks off and all of that. But I got to reach deep in the Grift bag right now for our next talking point. Hold on. Let me find it. It's a lot of Trump clips in here. I was gonna play that video, but let's go right here. Let's go big brain for us for a hot second. Let's talk about this. So Peter Quinones posted this, and it says here, "What is your third wish, Master?" to the black guy, and he says, "My final wish is to undo the impacts of slavery." And then it shows this black man back in Africa with huts. And I just thought this kind of shows the narrow-mindedness of people who make these things and people who enjoy these things. Like, I get it, you want to laugh, ha ha ha, you're back. I'm not disturbed by it, but being an educated individual, right? Who likes to think scholarly, it's just inaccurate, right? It's kind of tasteless, but it's inaccurate, right? And it's mostly because, and I don't even want to, let's talk about the huts, right? Actually, let's not talk about it. Let's talk about Ted Kaczynski. Now, Ted Kaczynski talks about industrialization. And in order to understand this meme, you would have to understand or have read his paper on industrialization. And shout out to the Mises Caucus people. They're the ones that put me on to that. And I enjoyed reading that paper, and I think it's mandatory reading for everyone. But, you know, the idea that life would be worse off in Africa, in nature, with huts, with animals, is just... Is myopic the right word to use here? Yeah, myopic. It's just very myopic. Let's go here. Now, let's just assume, I want to talk about the huts. And I want to bring up, you know, what Native Americans lived in. I don't even want to go back to what they call it, you know, the structures of the Songhai Empire, the Mali Empire, because, you know, Africans didn't just live in huts. I'm sure some people lived in huts. But I want to show you what native populations actually lived in. And I want to use the American ones as a great example. I just can't remember. Here's a good one. Here's a fairly decent one, but it's Facebook, and I don't want to pull up Facebook. But there's several, like, really, I would say for the time and for native people, advanced. Hold on. I forget the name of those houses that they had. Here we go. Here we go. Found it. All right, here we go. Let's put this up on the screen. So you get these structures. Hold on. You get these structures, right? And I believe they call these teepees or something like that. Then you get these structures, which are bigger. Obviously, the igloo. Then you see the Pueblo here. This is 1873. Here it is. The longhouse. They had longhouses. Even the native population here had longhouses. This is more like, I guess, a ranch or something like that. I guess we would call that today. They got the plank houses. But the idea that, you know, there weren't, you know, some sort of advanced structures beyond a hut in Africa is just, again, myopic. But let's remove that from the argument completely. And let's come back to just understanding the geography of a place, right? So let's go here. Here we go. Anybody ever seen this before? Tell me if you've seen this before. Here we go. Bang. Let's pull this up. Let's put this on your screen here. Boom. Everybody, have you guys ever seen this before? I believe this is Bali. Have you ever seen these structures? Now, people pay good money to stay in these. Like, this is a travel destination. This is like people escape America to go here and stay for vacation. Overseas, they call it holiday. But this is where people go to holiday sometimes. These huts. And they enjoy it. You know, this is what we would call, you know, when you come back and you talk about these memes, right? This is what you call, when you look at these memes, this is what you would call a European way of thinking, right? Because it comes down to geography, right? In Europe, a hut might not be sufficient. The elements are going to get to you. So you're going to need, you know, a cave, hence the whole caveman thing. But you're going to need some sort of sophisticated structure to help you from the elements. The difference is when you're in Africa, you don't need sophisticated structures. It's nice outside. You're going to find you a tree. You're going to sit underneath the tree to escape the sun. You're going to fish. You're going to have a great time. Now, let's talk about the clothing. As you can see here, this gentleman doesn't have on a shirt. He doesn't have on any shoes, right? And why? Because you don't need those things when you're in a tropical climate. What do people do? When you're on the beach, do you wear shoes on the beach? No, you take it off. You feel the sand beneath your feet. And it's a tropical climate. It's a warm climate. So why would you wear a shirt and shoes? The only time you wear a shirt and shoes is if you live in an area that you need to protect yourself from the elements. So they see these people and they go, oh, look at them. All they got on is a cloth. And I'm like, bro, that's their bathing suit. Do you know what they wear at night, though? Because when they come out at night, that's when you get the fur comes out. And you'll see them with the fur like you see in here. And this is what they don't show you, right? They'll never show you this imagery, right? The fur. You saw it in Coming to America. The fur. You see the fur over his shoulders? The fur on the hat. Now, the fur came out at night. But during the day, you don't need fur. It's too hot for the fur. So you might have lion fur or, whatever animal is going to provide, some good coverage for you to protect you from the nighttime elements. Then it gets a little breezy, right? So again, this is European-centric way of thinking, saying that, because these people don't live like us, this must be something wrong. Now, let's go into the shoe aspect, okay? Now, people are just now finding out about, let me see here. So we're going to type in, people are just now finding out about barefoot shoes. All right, you guys seen people wear these things, right? And this is a huge hit right now, where people are wearing these 5-finger toe shoes. They call it grounding, and there's a whole culture behind this right now. Yeah. You guys are familiar with this. And then you'll see, I can type in barefoot shoes benefits, and then people do a whole bunch of research on this. So you see here, right here, what does it say? It says more natural gait and running form, less stress on joints, less overall pain in the feet, legs, and lower back, improved balance and posture, higher calorie burn, increased range of motion in the ankle and foot. And what people don't understand is shoes are bad for you, okay?
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Shoes are not good. So when we look at track and field, and we look at people who dominate the running aspects of track and field, people are trying to figure out why. Why do the Africans dominate long distance, and why are the Jamaicans dominating sprinting? And it has to do with the fact that they don't wear shoes. If you have a baby, do not put shoes on them. Let them walk around the house barefoot, because this is going to strengthen something called the fascia. Okay, and let's show it to you in the foot. So people are trying to figure out why are Africans, it's because we're not wearing shoes. You see it right here, you see the foot fascia? You see that right there? You guys can go plantar fiscalis or whatever, blah, blah, blah. You guys can go do your research. We're not gonna go deep into it, it's not a health class, but we're talking about fascia, right? The thick tissue at the bottom of the foot, it connects the healing bone to the toes and creates the arch of the foot. When this tissue becomes swollen and inflamed, it's called plantar fiscitis or plantar fasciitis. I don't know what that says. I'm sorry. The plantar fascia is a very thick band of tissue that covers the bones from the bottom of the foot. So you want to strengthen that. And you see athletes now that do these things, these exercises with the towel to strengthen their feet. But if you look at South America or any one of these third world nations where people can't afford shoes, I grew up my dad's from Jamaica. I grew up walking around the house barefoot. I went outside barefoot. I was a great athlete because, I believe, because of that. Shoes are not good. Sometimes what you'll see doctors prescribe these big, thick soles. And there are many doctors out there who deal in chiropractic, the chiropractic field, right? And what the advanced doctors, I believe, what the advanced doctors are saying is that back problems start with the lower body, gluteus maximus, and also the strength of your feet. If your feet are weak, you're going to start to have back problems. If your butt is weak, if your legs are weak, you're going to start to have back problems. All of that stuff starts in the lower body. So when we're looking at people who with strong feet, what you're going to have is faster runners, long distance runners, and you'll see the Africans and the Jamaicans dominate because as kids, they're not wearing shoes. You'll even see kids in Brazil, right? You see the Brazilians playing soccer barefoot, right? Brazilians soccer barefoot, just so you can see the images, see what I'm talking about. And you see the kids out here and they playing barefoot. Then you ask yourself, well, why are the Brazilians so good outside of the fact that they play all the time? But look, you'll see plenty of images of kids playing soccer barefoot. Then you'll find out when you play like this, you have less injuries. And I've said it before, until basketball players start playing bare feet, they're going to continue to have back and knee issues. What takes out every basketball player? You ever see Kobe with the big old packs on his knees? Obviously from all the jumping, right? But that cushion in the shoes, that stuff's no good. That stuff's all marketing from Nike, man. Oh, the cushioning. No, you need to be playing these sports barefoot. And then you'll see less back injuries. You always see these basketball players, back injuries. It's mostly because what's happening is your body's going to have a response to impact. So when you jump up and you land, your body is going to have some sort of response to that. When you have a shoe, the body is no longer going to strengthen the parts of the body because the shoe is taking up some of the impact. So different parts of the leg and the foot are going to become weaker over time because you're not using them because you found an aid. So these things are going to make you weaker. This is why I never put shoes on babies. Never, ever, ever put shoes on babies. Unless you're going to take them outside and they're going to be walking and it's dangerous, they want to cut their foot on glass, I can understand that. But you have to minimize how much your babies, your kids wear shoes. Don't put them in shoes. So again, let's come back. I want to show you the African, and you wonder why. Why does the African dominate sports? It's because he's not wearing shoes. His body is stronger. You see less injuries. You don't see these people having injuries in track like that. Usain Bolt and all these guys, they grew up barefoot. So again, this is just a topic I wanted. I saw the meme and I was like, oh, I can talk about this. This is great. This is great education for people. But again, myopic, thinking that the European way of life is the way to be. I'm going to show you what happens when you live this industrial way of life. So you, on one hand, you get what? You get the hold on. I want to pull it up like this. You'll get your African in your hut and your bathing suit. But you know what happens when you do it the industrial way? This is what you get. This is what you get. Which way, Western man? Which way, Western man? Are we here with it? Or are we here with it? Which way, I ask you, Western man? You ask me, you can send me back to Africa in the hut if this is the alternative. Which way, Western man? Which way. And I never thought I'd have to bring that person's image up on the screen, but for all intent purposes, I had to today. Let's go back into the grift bag. We're going to talk about relationships, then we're going to play some Donald Trump clips after that. What up, chat? How y'all feeling in the chat? I got to check on my rumblers. Where my rumblers at? Where my rumblers? How many we got? 61 over there watching on Rumble. Yeah, the name of that Ted Kaczynski paper is Industrial Society and Its Future. Thank you. Exactly. Wonderful, wonderful paper. I think, you know, all people, all walks of life, ages should read that. Steph Colonel said European shit. It's Western. It's Western. All right, let's go back. Looks like I hurt about 20 people's feelings. They had to clock out because they didn't like me criticizing European way of life. But, you know, we get big brain on this channel sometimes. You'll be all right. You know, we're not here to affirm your bias. Remember that. We're here to help humanity grow. We're here to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Let's go here. Rollo Tomassi recently came under fire. Maybe we should show the tweet first. Yeah, let me show the tweet first. Hold on. Let's show the tweet first so we can get some context as to what is happening here, and then we'll play some Trump clips, have some fun, and then open up the phone lines. It's not 3 p.m. yet, so I'm making some good. I'm going through this at a good pace. So here's the tweet right here. Let's put this on your screen. Okay, so Rollo Tomassi says the quickest path to becoming a high-value man. Number 1, do not get married. Number 2, avoid family creation. Number 3, vasectomy in your 20s. Number 4, lift consistently. 5, eliminate all sedations. 6, learn game and networking. 7, play to your strengths, build wealth. 8, resist easing up on your focus. I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to give you my thoughts on these. But first, let's play the clip.
What is your definition of a high-value man?
It doesn't matter. That's not what I was talking about in this.
It doesn't matter.
Isn't it what you're talking about? That's what the first part of the tweet is: how to become a high value man.
The fastest way to become a high value man is to recognize the fact that you've got sacrifices to make. Okay.
So like what is that? Telling like stories from Vietnam. Like, just say, what is a high value man? It's the first part of the tweet. What does that mean?
You tell me what a high value man is. Because here's the thing: is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I'm going to say is a high value man. You guys are fucking
because it's your fucking tweet.
It doesn't matter what I say is a fucking high value man because everybody takes this. The point of the fucking tweet is that everybody is going to take this and then insert their own definition of what a fucking high value man is.
What if a high value man is 12 kids when you're 16?
Now you heard Rollo say right there. I want you to just right here.
Their own definition of what a fucking high value man is.
What if a high value
That's the bait.
You heard him say that's the bait. That's the bait. I'm going to give you my thoughts on this in a second. Let's finish.
12 kids when you're 16. Then your tweet doesn't work, does it? What if your definition of a high-value man is being getting into a trade and having 5 kids by the time you're 22? Then it also high-value man is being an esports professional.
You're absolutely making my point for me right here, okay? This is what I'm saying.
My point is that high-value man, you gave a list of 8 things. Do these 8 things to become a high-value man. Do 1 through 8 to become A. And you're not defining what A is.
The fastest way to becoming a high-value man is these things.
What is that?
Okay? So here's the thing. So if we're talking about family creation, we already talked. Okay, so you want to go? Okay, let's go one by one. You want to go one by one? Okay,
no,
so
I want to go before one by one. What is a high-value man?
We can't have an argument if I don't even know what your definition
is. The very fact that you're even asking this in the first place is the actual point of the fucking tweet. Okay, so if you're going to be a high-value man with the fucking hands tied behind your back, then what is that? What does that mean to you? That's the point. This whole discussion is the point of the fucking tweet. Do you,
It's not.
you
The
guys?
point of the tweet was, you've got some conception of a high value man. Here are 8 points that you think you need to do to get to it. And now you've gotten blown the fuck up on the vasectomy thing, which you probably realize is fucking retarded, but you're too old and stubborn to walk back from it. That's the point of this
I'm
conversation.
not too stubborn to fucking walk back from it, because the point of it was to get douche nozzles like yourself to fucking have this conversation in the first place.
How old are you, bro? Douche nozzles? What is your definition?
Now, let me tell you the main problem here. What you have is a high IQ individual having a conversation with people that just frankly aren't as high IQ as him. Okay. Rollo Tomassi, he's got a degree in psychology. He's just really, really intelligent. And I think he's too intelligent for this conversation. I think that's what happened here. He's just too smart for, I think, this guy in the blue hair. I don't know who that is. I think the other guy's name is Sneeko. I'm not familiar with Sneeko's work. I've seen his stuff, not familiar with him. But the issue is, I don't think they can intellectually keep up with Rollo. At least the blue hair guy. I'm not sure about Sneeko, but the blue hair guy is doing all the talking. And let's go back to the tweet, though. Let's go back to, is it here? Yeah, let's pull the tweet up. Because I saw the tweet, like somebody tagged me and said, bro, you know, I asked, what's the grift of the day? And they said Rollo. And I was like, what happened with Rollo? And they showed me this right here, this tweet right here. So I read it. And I got to number 3, vasectomy in your 20s. And I started cracking up. I said, oh, Rollo trolling. Rollo trolling. And this reminds me of Scott Adams. When Scott Adams said white people should move away from black people, I'm watching the clip and I'm laughing because I know he's trolling. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, do you have to be super intelligent to know when somebody's trolling? Because I thought I got to number 3 and I was just like, oh, this is hilarious. This is funny. Vasectomy in your 20s. I totally get what Rollo's trying to do here. He's trolling. He's creating conversation. He's triggering. And he says that. In that clip, you saw him say that was bait. High value man was bait. For example, I wrote an article this weekend. First dates cost $1,000. Bait, right? And then they clicked it. We did 3,000 views off that blog alone. Okay, bait. And what did I use? What term did I use in that article? I used the term high value man. Why? Because there's so much controversy surrounding that term, high value man. High value man. And the reason why it's so controversial is what a high value man is subjective. There is no one definition of what a high value man is. It depends on who you ask. And that's why I said I think this conversation with Rollo, he's just a little bit too intelligent for them to get the game he's playing here. All he's saying is, watch this. I'm going to start a conversation. Y'all going to be trolling. Y'all going to be bringing my name up. And I'm going to be the topic of conversation. Just like Saturday when I put out my article, a first date costs $1,000 because I'm trolling. And being the intellectual that I am, I was able to make a blog post out of it and make a strong argument. And people who read the blog post was like, that's a really strong argument to have for a $1,000 first date, right? But I backed my way into it from a troll, right? But this is what intellectuals are able to do. They're able to just take these ideas and entertain them. But the thing is, when people think of high value man, there's like 2 definitions. There's one that's subjective, and then there's one that's vaguely objective, right? And the vaguely objective one would be, you know, has muscles, has cars and money, and is fairly intelligent, right? Your Andrew Tate type guys. Okay, that is like the pseudo objective version of a high value man. Now, if you ask some women what a high value man is, she's like, yo, if you don't work with your hands, you're not a high value man. Some women want guys who are athletes. Some women want guys who work in corporate. Some women want philosophers. Some women want, you know, yogi gurus. It's subjective what it means to be a high value man. And that's what makes this whole conversation controversial. So it's kind of frustrating for me to see Rollo in that situation, because I'm like, bro, like, they don't get it. They don't even get what you was trying to do there. You know, like, like, number one, creating the conversation. And I think it's important to create that conversation so everyone collectively can weigh in on what do you think is a high value man. And when you call in today, I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. What is a high value man? What does that look like? For some people, or for myself, I think a high value man is someone with high virtue and high morals. If you have high virtue, high morals, everything else seems to work itself out. The money, the cars, the girls, all of that stuff seems to work itself out if you have high virtue and high morals. So that's my definition. That's how I would define it. But again, it's subjective. Like, what is a high value man to you? So when I saw the clip, I'm like, yo, they really don't get it, or do they not want to get it? Because I assume these people were, somewhat intelligent, right? Like, I think Sneako's a pretty smart guy, but to get trolled off a tweet like that, like when you say get a vasectomy at the age of 20, isn't that like an obvious troll? How is that not obvious? I thought that was like super obvious. Hold on, let me find a tweet because I want to go through each one of these, and because there is actually something here, and that's the thing, that what makes a good troll is having a little bit of truth. Having a little bit of truth makes a troll go a long way. So what he's saying here is do not get married, number one, okay? And really what that's saying is women cost money. They cost money and cost time. And that's what I said in my article on Saturday. $1,000 date because a relationship going to cost you $10,000 at a minimum. So, avoiding relationships, avoiding family creation. Have kids, your income is highly slashed when you have kids. Your time is highly slashed when you have kids. Vasectomy in your 20s. Like, who's really about to do a vasectomy in their 20s? As soon as I got to number 3, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, he trolling, right? But that's basically saying the same thing. Don't get a chick knocked up. That's really what he's saying is like, yeah, don't get a chick knocked up randomly, right? Because, now you got, 2 baby mamas or a baby mama, y'all not together and she's not the one for you. You're just having frivolous sex, Number 4, live consistently. I think that's, paramount to be a man. You got to stay in shape. Number 5, eliminate all sedations. That's like, basically drugs and alcohol and pornography, right? All these different sedations that are just terrible for you. Number 6, learn game and networking. I absolutely agree with that one. That one is sound. Number 7, play to your strengths, build wealth. Absolutely sound. Resisting, easing up on your focus. Absolutely is very important for a man to stay focused and stay on his grind. I totally agree with that 100%. But again, it just comes back to number 3. And when it got to number 3, everybody lost their mind. And I'm just like, y'all took that serious? Like, chat, come on, help me out, yo. Come on, help me out, chat, yo. Daxhill said, like I said on Spaces, a lot of these guys are not true leaders, triggered with no self-reflection. The whole tweet was limit distractions. Everyone got emotional and started projecting. Exactly. Like, I don't, like, how'd you get triggered by this tweet? Like, I know I'm smart, right? And people say I'm smart, and I believe I'm smart, but like, do you have to be super smart to know this is trolling? Oh, it's so frustrating. And I can see why Rose started cussing at him, because he's like, bro, it's a troll. Same thing with the Scott Adams situation. Everybody's mad because Scott Adams told black people to move away. And I'm like, you guys can't detect that he's trolling? It's so fucking frustrating. It's really frustrating. Trish said, also imagine taking it personal. Yeah, who reads somebody else's tweet and takes it personal? I hate when people do that. You write a tweet and like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. I'm like, you could have kept scrolling, but you chose to be offended. Offense is a choice. Trish said, even if he wasn't, you would just move on and say Rollo bugging. Also true. Let's say I didn't detect that Rollo was trolling. I would just be like, oh, he's bugging, whatever, and keep it rolling. Where are we at with this, yo? Eric Santos said, gaming community takes everything seriously. Bro, I wouldn't expect that because I thought Sneeko was a troll. So I thought, Sneeko would, detect that it's a troll. And maybe he did because, I only had like the blue hair guy talking in that tweet. But they wanted to pin Rollo down to say, what is a high value man? And they thought that he was tap dancing around the subject of defining a high value man. But his point was that it's so subjective that what he considers a high value man is irrelevant. Like, he's not God. He's not the ruler of men. It's like to say, hey, once Rollo defines what a high value man is, that's the definition we throw in Oxford's dictionary. That's not how it's going to work. So it makes no sense for him to define what a high value man is. What he's saying is, let's collectively discuss what a high value man is, and the collective mind of men can define what a high value man is, and then it can enter into Oxford's dictionary or whatever place that they log the definitions of these terms. Okay? So, like somebody would mention, you like Hotep, like, what is Hotep? Like, Hotep Jesus doesn't get to define what Hotep is. It has to be a collective. And I'm going to have Strong Dad Protocol calling, and we're going to talk about, the whole Hotep thing, being Hotep or whatever. But there's a lot of times where I enter into discussions with people and they ask me to define it. And I'm like, no, let's define it collectively, because you're going to see the world differently from me, or I might have a blind spot to something, or you'll have an experience I've never had. We can share that collectively. Together, we can come together and figure out what is a high value man. But they wanted to pin it on him and say, tell us what a high value man is. And he's like, that's not the point of the tweet. The point of the tweet was to start conversation so we can all define what a high value man is. It's frustrating for me, just, for people not to be able to detect a troll. It's just like, are people really that dumb? Because a lot of people got fooled by that tweet. That tweet, I think somebody shared that tweet with me like 2 weeks ago. Wait, what's the date on that tweet, actually? It's cut off it's not even in the screenshot. Anyway, we're going to Trump. It's time to talk to my guy, Trump. Let's go back in the Grift bag. All right, here we go. We got a bunch of clips. Shout out to Trish. Trish sent me the clips last night. I'm going to have to try and do a good job of not getting the channel limited. So what'll happen is I might play these clips and YouTube will go, you've been naughty, you're playing copyrighted material, and they'll zap the stream, but it'll come back. They'll put me on pause for like 5 minutes or 2 minutes or something like that. So if that happens, just hang out. I'll be right back. But we're going to go into the Trump clips. Let's go. Let's go into the Trump clips. Boom. Now, Trump says China like he says vagina. I think I need this soundbite.
We were given a gift from China. Her cat was named Vagina. We were given a...
I didn't watch that clip. I didn't see that.
Her cat was named Vagina.
Actually, no, I did. I saw the whole clip. I saw the whole clip where he was talking about the lady that accused him of whatever. I need that vagina soundbite. I'm going to get that. Let's go to the next clip. Let me make sure I can. Okay, you guys can see that. Good. All right.
Hi, thank you for coming. This is a bit of a pivot, but with gun violence and mass shootings in the news cycle recently, I'm worried that state governments and the federal government are going to act to repress gun rights. Under your administration, you instructed the Department of Justice and the ATF to ban bump stocks. If elected president again, how would you act not only to defend our Second Amendment rights, but to restore rights that have been taken from us, such as, by example, recently the ATF's ruling on the pistol stabilizing braces?
Now, there has been, the two-way community has had a lot of pushback on this bump stock ban, which, frankly, I'm not familiar with the argument, but I'm not for banning bump stocks. But let's see what he says.
Yeah, as you know, the bump stocks are actually a very unimportant thing. And NRA, I went with them and they said it doesn't mean anything. They're actually, all they do is teach you how to shoot very inaccurately. So we did that. There's been nobody that's protected the Second Amendment, as you know, like I have. I protected it through thick and thin, not easy to do. But we have a very big mental health problem in this country. And again, it's not the gun that pulls the trigger, it's the person that pulls the trigger. And we have to protect our Second Amendment. We have to protect our Second Amendment.
That's a strong response. That's a really, really strong response. I like how he attacked the question and avoided it at the same time. You know, a good polished politician would do it, but he doesn't do it in a sleazy way. Like, for some reason, when Trump does it, you know, it just comes off very organic and, you know, comes off very organic and real. But that's a good response to that question. Let's go to the next clip.
Back to what happened on that day.
He
you said
did
you
not
weren't.
say that.
He has testified that, Mr.
He did
President.
not say that.
But you said you weren't very involved that day.
I also like Trump's composure. His composure is just elite and just confident. And how old is Trump? How old is Trump? '76, man. I pray to God I age like Trump. I pray to God I age like Trump. This man's sharp, man. He's sharp. He's on point. His brain is functioning. He's not, you know, stumbling over words like Biden. He's reacting, you know, quick and snappy like a young man.
You did tell your supporters to come to Washington. You tweeted about it, about
Sure,
that speech that happened on the rally.
Am I allowed to say that?
When they went to the Capitol
Am I allowed to say that?
and they were breaking into the Capitol, smashing windows, injuring police officers, why did it take you 3 hours to tell them to go home?
I don't believe it did.
Ooh, I don't believe it did. And look at him. He like, I was ready for that question. He about to pull out the transcript.
Oh, let me pull it out. I have to pull it out.
Yo, Trump swag, man.
So if you...
Did you see him? Watch this. Watch when he pulls it out. Watch him show it to everybody. Look, watch this.
So...
He's like, look, I got the paper right here. Yo, I swear Trump got some black in him, yo. No white man supposed to have that much swag, bro. Oh, man.
So if you look at, on January 5th, the day before, I said, please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful. Stay peaceful. This was the day before, and this was in the form of Twitter. Now I use Truth Social. I think it's far superior. Okay.
Oh, what a plug. Genius plug. I got to keep pausing the video for copyright purposes, so please forgive me.
I hope everybody's on Truth. If you look January 6th, this is before 2:30. I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. This is right after, as it was happening. But what happened is they took it down. I don't know why. I think they took it down because it was so good. They didn't like it being up there. I am asking, and we didn't know until I got it back, because now I have 90 million people waiting for me to go back, but I'm on Truth, and I'm staying on Truth.
My man.
Listen, I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. No violation. We want no violation. We want no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you. That was at 2:30. That was very early.
Mr. President.
Now keep in mind that this is CNN. We know how much the right hates CNN. We know CNN just got rid of Don Lemon. They reduced, I believe, Joy-Ann Reid. No, Joy-Ann Reid's at MSNBC. I'm sorry. They reduced Don Lemon to the unemployment line. They said they want to go more in the middle, get more of a conservative crowd, and they went straight after Trump. And that lets you know how bad the ratings are. Imagine you have access to everyone's television and people are like, nope, I'm going to go watch Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
I'm going to watch Tim Pool. I'm going to watch Joe Rogan. I'm going to watch Michael Malice. People are choosing other channels. Other than CNN, you have a choice now. Because of the internet, you have a choice. CNN programmers can't even put together a decent show to keep people tuned in, mostly because they want to inject everything with wokeness. And people are like, yo, turn this off, bro. Turn this off. So it just tells you how bad they're suffering that they had to go get the Trump card. Let's go to the next clip.
In 3 hours, over 140 officers were injured that day.
And a person named Ashley Babbitt was killed.
Yes.
You know what? She was killed, and she shouldn't have been killed. And that thug that killed her, there was no reason to shoot her. At blank range, cold blank range, they shot her. And she was a good person. She was a patriot. There was no reason. There was no reason. And he went on television to brag about the fact that he killed her.
The officer was not bragging about the fact that he killed her, but
bragging.
one person who was at the
Now, two things I want to say here. Number one, I agree with Trump. There's no reason to shoot Ashley Babbitt, especially from point blank range. She didn't seem to pose any threat. But I'm surprised more people haven't said anything about him calling a black cop a thug. You know, I'm surprised more people. I probably shouldn't give him the idea, but you know, usually when a white man refers to a black man as a thug, that's a racial epithet. So I'm surprised that didn't get more burn. Let's go to the next clip.
The current administration has made it clear that we should continue to provide military equipment to Ukraine so that they can defend themselves. Do you support this decision, and how would you deal with the increasing threat posed by Vladimir Putin?
Now, I just want to say, I love his response to this, and we'll break it down after he says it, but I absolutely love his response to this. Is a very...
And it's an important question, so important.
You see how he framed that? So first of all, he gave the girl some props. He said, you know, he didn't try to minimize the situation. He said it's an important question. Genius.
Because we're giving away so much equipment. We don't have ammunition for ourselves right now. We don't have ammunition for ourselves. We're giving away so much. But here's the thing.
That's kind of wild. America has sent so much ammunition overseas that we ain't got none. For that little ass country, Ukraine? How big is Ukraine? Let's see. Let's go to our Google overlords. Ukraine is the size of what state? Let's see. It's the size of Texas. It's the size of Texas. You know, it's funny. It's funny that it's the size of Texas because last night I had this thought. And I said, I really don't want to hear from anybody from a country that's the size of Texas or smaller. If your country is the size of Texas or smaller, I really don't want to hear from you about American politics and American society. You have no idea what it's like to be an American because your country is smaller than Texas. We have a state in our country bigger than your entire nation. Your problems are nothing like our problems. We got a whole different bag of problems. It's funny, damn, size of Texas, little bitch ass state. Little bitch ass country, little ass country, little punk ass size country, little ass baby ass size countries. Get your little punk ass, you just flick that thing off the map. Get the hell out of here, man.
Have to say it to start off, no longer matters. If I were president, this would have never happened.
Facts. Facts.
And even the Democrats admit that. Putin knew it would have never happened, and his pipeline would have never happened. A lot of things would have never happened, but this would never have happened. And all those dead people.
She want to know which Democrats, right? We talking about the gravity of the Ukraine-Russia conflict, and you want to fact check him about, you know, some one thing he said about Democrats. Come on, lady. Do your job before you get fired, too. You want to be up there, be all woke and have this weird pushback. If you have pushback, have some scholarly pushback. You want to be so pedantic and worry about this one little point, Democrats. We're talking about Ukraine and Russia, and you're talking about Democrats. If you want to talk about Democrats and Ukraine, we need to be talking about the Biden crime family. Let's go back.
Both Russian and Ukrainian, they wouldn't be dead today. And all those cities that are blown up and disintegrated right to the ground, that wouldn't have happened. Okay, now, here's the problem. We've given so far $171 billion. They've given, meaning European Union, which is approximately the same size altogether as our economy. They've given about 20. So we're at 170, let's say, and they're at 20. You don't have to know too much about history to realize, or geography, to realize that they're a little bit more affected than we are, okay?
Facts.
So they've got to put up a lot more money because they're taking advantage of us like every other country did. That's why I ended
Taking advantage of us like every other country did.
NAFTA and replace it with the USMCA, Mexico,
But on
Canada.
this issue, Mr. President, I should know, I don't know any Democrats who have said they don't believe Putin would have invaded if you were president.
See, she came right back to the whole Democrat situation.
But her question is, would you continue to give Ukraine money and weapons if you're elected?
Now pay attention to how he answers this.
What's the answer?
I have a very good relationship with President Zelensky because, as you know, he backed me up with the phony impeachment hoax #1 when he said the president didn't do anything wrong. So
That was
I
when
happen
you
to
asked him
like.
for an
So I
investigation in
happen to
exchange
like.
for
Yeah, that's right.
weapons.
And I was totally exonerated, by the way. Just a waste of time and money.
You were impeached over that.
You hear her? She's terrible.
You were impeached over that.
She's terrible. But she asked him, would you support conflict in Ukraine? Right? And he didn't answer the question. All he said was, I have a great relationship with Zelensky. Okay. Now, what I extrapolated from that statement was, I think I can resolve the conflict without sending weapons overseas, without continuing the conflict, without continuing a war. I think I can talk to Putin and I can talk to Zelensky and we can figure this thing out. Second, he can't answer that question. He can't answer that question because he's not president. He does not have all the information from the Pentagon, from the military, et cetera, all the advisors. He's not in that seat. Biden's got to call those shots. I couldn't tell you if I would support Ukraine if I wasn't president. Put me in president spot. We'll take a look at everything and I'll make my decision from there, So I love the way he answered that question. Let's go to the next clip.
The fact that I was able to terminate Roe v. Wade after 50 years of trying. They worked for 50 years. I've never seen anything like it. They worked, and I was so honored to have done it. We are in a very good negotiating position right now, only because of what I was able to do. And remember this, again, you talk about radicalism. People that will kill a baby in the 9th month or the 8th month or the 7th month or after the baby is born, they're the radicals, not the pro-life.
I just want to...
That's just facts. That's just facts. Plain and simple. You're a radical. You're a radical. You want to kill babies? You're a radical. You're absolutely, I would say, a lunatic, to be honest with you. Absolute lunatic. Let's go to the next clip. I want to say demonic.
Speaking of New York, I want to ask you about a significant verdict that was reached yesterday. I know this is something you want to weigh in on as well. A Manhattan jury found that you sexually abused the writer E. Jean Carroll and defamed her. You've denied this, but what do you say to voters who
You see his face.
and defamed her? You've denied this, but what do you
You see his face, yo?
What do you say to voters who say it disqualifies you from being president?
Well, there aren't too many of them because my poll numbers just came out. They went up.
What do you say to voters who say it disqualifies you from being president?
Well, there aren't too many of them because my poll numbers just came out. They went up.
What do you say to voters? Well, I ain't got to worry about that because my poll numbers is up. Biden could never He could never.
Okay. I think I'm the only person in history who had a charge like that. And usually you leave office, you say, I'm sorry, but I'm going to back home. I'm back home to my family and everything. I'm going to be resigned. My poll numbers went up, and they went up with the other fake charge too. Because what's happening is they're doing this for election interference. This woman, I don't know her. I never met her. I have no idea who she is. I had a picture taken years ago with her and her husband, nice guy, John Johnson. He was a newscaster, a very nice man. She called him an ape. Happens to be African-American. Called him.
Whoa. She called an African-American an ape? Is this true, chat? Is that true?
An ape. The judge wouldn't allow us to put that in. Her dog or her cat was named Vagina.
Lord have mercy.
The judge wasn't allowed to put that in. All of these things, but with her, they can put in anything. Access
This
Hollywood.
was a jury of
anything.
9 people who found
That's right.
you liable of sexual abuse. Do you think that will deter women from voting for you?
No, I don't think so, because I.
Well, that's it. That's it for the Trump clips. We're going to open up phone lines 202-596-5631, 202-596-5631. We got the phone lines opening up right now. Call in. I'm going to throw the number in the chat. Don't forget get your Hotep Con tickets. Our annual event, hotepnation.com/Hotep Con. Coupon code Hotep Jesus for 10% off. Make sure you get your master focus, get your mind right. Let me set my screens up so we good here. And I'm going to get into super chats as well. Let me see here. Okay. I can actually close this screen, I think. No, close this one.
Call from
Old State.
Hotep Ghosting, you on the line. What up, bro?
Cracking.
What's up, man? Talk to me, man. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. How you doing today?
Good. What's on your mind, man?
So I was listening to you earlier about that whole deal with which way Western man.
Yeah.
I would implore your followers and everyone who follows the show, everyone who's listening now, I would implore you not to go the way of Mike Cernovich.
Oh man, here we go.
Bro, I can't get over it, man. How you gonna play that video of that lady on that train like that and then fix your mouth to say she didn't deserve no type of help?
Is that what he said?
Yeah, it blew my mind, man.
Oh, you talking about the lady that got attacked, that got punched in the face by that black guy?
Yeah, well, no, he pulled her back down by her hair.
Oh, that one. Okay, yeah.
He's sitting there talking about help me, mouth and help me. You know what I mean? And this fool gonna say, well, she get what she deserves. She voted Democrat, all this other bullshit. I'm like, yo, man, I made a video on that shit, man. He aired me out. I got his followers just banging on my head right now. It's whatever, but I mean,
when did he tweet that?
Yesterday.
I gotta find that tweet.
Shit yesterday. And it blew me away what you was talking about today. Like, you either going, one way or you going the Dylan Mulvaney way. And it seems that he's trying to enlist a whole bunch of conservative-minded individuals to head in that Dylan Mulvaney direction.
Did he quote tweet that video? I'm trying to find it now.
He did, and like I said, I got his followers on my helmet right now. Not that I really give a damn, but I think this shit is fun. But damn,
are they?
Yeah, they talking about that. I'll post your name, post your address, post your face, and all this other bullshit. I'm like, yo.
Oh, and then I see you made the video here. We're gonna play this. Hold on, let me add that to the Grift bag. We're gonna play that later. I'm trying to find the tweet where he commented just to make sure we got the context here. Where is that? I don't see it on his page. Oh, here it is. He said the comments are hilarious. Why don't the real men do something? Yes, please risk a life sentence in prison or getting stabbed because you stood up for Democrat voters getting what they voted for. Great plan. Oh my God. You can't just you can't just grab someone and they stop. Not how it works. You grab a criminal. He is going to spaz out. Do you body slam him in a crowded subway? Better hope he doesn't get hit, doesn't hit his head. Boom, now it's manslaughter. Enjoy your 91% left-wing jury. 1 year later, important update. So what was Cernovich's take on Neely?
On who?
Jordan Neely.
I would assume that he was kind of with it. That's, you know, because I fucked with Cernovich until yesterday. On that tweet, I was like, yo, man, I'm out. But I would assume that he was with what Neely did, and this is probably just like a rage tweet on his behalf because he's just sick of the system. I get that. But damn, bro, you can't just be advocating for some pussification type shit, bro.
I see here it says, in regards to Jordan Neely, he says Twitter is saving another innocent life from far left-wing domestic terrorists and their Soros-funded DAs. But that's, and then he has another tweet here. Every saint of the left turns out to be a total low-life serial criminal, Jordan Neely. And that's all I got from him on this. Let me see if I type in Jordan Neely, if anything different comes up. Yeah, those are the only two tweets I got from him. You know what makes me feel weird is when people do the whole Democrat voters, thing. Like, how do you know this lady here who was attacked is a voter, let alone a Democrat voter? I don't like commenting on videos like that because I can see Cernovich's point, right? Like, why don't real men do something, right? Like, it's a tough place to be in, right? Because, especially like in a state like New Jersey, because if you protect somebody in the state of New Jersey, you can go to jail if you hurt the person that you were protecting that person from. It's how screwed up some of these justice systems are, right? But it just comes back to, well, what type of society are we building? What type of men are we building? And, men should protect women. So that's why I want to see what he said about Jordan Neely, because if Jordan Neely was somebody that, that Marine was trying to protect somebody from, does he criticize, that guy for, taking down Jordan Neely? What's his take on that? But I don't like getting into those conversations because it's just like, what would you do while you're there? You never really know what you would do in a situation until you're there, especially like a situation where that woman's attacked. I want to say I would do something. But I don't know. I've never been in that situation before. I don't know.
I know. Like, look, everybody has their limit. I'm not saying that everybody should be built the same, because if that was the case, cities wouldn't be looking like they is right now.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Everybody has their limit. Everybody has their priorities, and I'm not knocking nobody for whatever they choose to do in that particular situation. The only reason I was on his helmet is because you're ridiculing motherfuckers. You're casting doubt in motherfuckers' heads who would rise to that occasion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And your influence is too big to be doing shit like that. That's my whole point.
And I agree with that side too. And I totally agree with that side too. Because it's like, if men are saying, yo, how come nobody stepped up? I'm not mad at them either. I'm like, yo, it's a good question. How come nobody stepped up? Like, you would want men to step up and protect women. So I couldn't say they're wrong for that, But yeah, I think this is one of those tweets where it just doesn't pass the optics test.
Yeah, personally speaking, I've been in that situation when I was locked up. You know what I mean? There was instances where motherfuckers had to defend them female COs because they're female COs, and that's like, that's CO versus inmate type shit. But I don't give a fuck about that line, and most motherfuckers locked up don't.
Yeah,
they don't give a fuck about that line. That's a lady, bro. And if if that would have been a blue-haired Dylan Mulvaney sitting on that motherfucker and needed help in that instant,
yeah,
he deserves that help.
Yeah,
I wouldn't give a fuck how he voting, how he swinging. If
Yeah.
he's a defenseless motherfucker, hey, do the right thing. That's all I say. And I'm not saying that for everybody. I'm saying that's for the ones who would. Don't let Cernovich cast doubt on that shit.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand that argument. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, and then as far as Trump, man, that fool had the clown suit on.
What you mean?
He was clowning last
Oh
night.
yeah, he was clowning. Yeah.
Fuck out of it. It's gonna be an interesting election cycle.
Oh, Grift season's officially here.
Big time. I'm just sad he ain't gonna debate DeSantis. That's all I'm sad about.
Why not?
He said I think he said some shit like he ain't trying to debate. I don't know if this was directed at DeSantis or maybe it was like if he won the vote, he wouldn't debate Biden. Biden already said that he ain't gonna debate Trump. So everybody's like saying fuck the debates, basically.
Yeah, I'm not even mad about the whole debate thing because the debates are never really productive.
They aren't. They're just entertaining.
They're just it's just entertaining. That's the only thing I'm disappointed. Like we don't get that entertainment, but they're usually never productive. The announcer is, or the media, the moderator is, usually left wing, and they go soft on Biden and then go hard on Trump, and then the questions are corny and not speaking to what really matters, and yeah. So it's usually never productive.
Yeah. Well, man, hey, I appreciate all you and the rest of the Hotep Nation is doing for the fucking civilization we do live in, and keep up the good work.
I appreciate you, man.
All right, bro.
All right, Hotep and Bill. Hotep Goldstein on the check-in. Shout out to Hotep Goldstein putting in work on the Twitters. We're going to play his clip a little bit later. We got the phone lines is hot right now. That Zacco said vasectomy at 20 is lineage ending. I mean, yeah, but Rollo was trolling.
Call from
Rudy the Vet Russo.
Rudy the Vet Russo on the line. Rudy, what up, man?
What's up, Hotep Jesus? What's up, brother? Oh my God, you got me riled up
Hotep,
again,
you're a
man.
genius.
Stop.
HotepJesus.com.
Welcome. What up, bro? Talk to me, man. What's on your mind?
That's my favorite one. Hey, look, man. First of all, I'm tired of Tucker Carlson's comment coming back saying that's not how white people fight. Because let me tell you how the white people I grew up with fight. If it's within the crew, you shoot the fair one. If there's a dispute in the crew that we needed to solve and it got in a fist, you shoot the fair one.
Yeah.
But we were just like you, what you said. If one of us gets into it in public, we all go. And if you don't go when we all go, then we get you afterwards for not going with us.
That's how I grew up. If we was out and we was fighting and you didn't fight with us, we was beating your ass when we got back home. But we don't promote violence on this channel. I'm just telling you what happened when I was younger.
That was the rules of the street, man. That's the rules of the working class right there, man.
Yeah.
So Tucker come from a different, maybe them Ivy League. I love Tucker. But he came from money. Maybe in the Ivy League they slap each other around and like, I'm calling you out. But where I come from in Norfolk, Virginia, if it's inner crew, we shoot the fair one. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
If it's not inner crew, if it's somebody from out, and I've seen some maulings, dude. I've seen 10-on-1 before, and we were all white boys.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that no more. Let's just get that one out the way.
You're absolutely right.
As of your boy last night, man.
Mm-hmm.
As of your boy last night.
Trump?
Yes.
Okay.
Man, he cannot speak in complete sentences, man. He can't articulate. Like, it's so, man, he could, man, the whole time Byron Donaldson's live tweeting, destroying every one of that chick's little snide comments. You know what I'm saying? Live tweeting.
Yeah.
Alongside of it. Just if he could just talk like a normal human being, man, without it's really great, it's the greatest ever, it's great, man. It's easy, man. The left's arguments are so terrible, man. They're so terrible, man. All he had to do was be like, hey, no Democrats say they want abortion in 9 months. All he has to do is say, hey, everybody, hey, America, Google Ralph Northam's radio interview. Hey, America, Google Kathy Tran, Virginia State Representative, and look at the clips of what she said about abortion up to 9 months. That's all I have to say.
Well,
and then he shut her down.
Well, here's the thing, Rudy. Trump comes from a sales business background, and I do too, right? And when you come from that type of background, you learn something really fast, is that you have to talk at a 5th grade level. And he understands that the main audience that he has to speak to is at a 5th grade level. People like you and I have already made up our minds. We already know who we're going to go vote. But he's like, there's some people out there that when you start speaking over their head, sometimes they get subconsciously offended. So he's speaking at a 5th grade level to speak to that mind that can't detect that Rollo Tomassi's trolling, right? He's speaking to that very plain mind, and that's why he does that, and that's why it's so effective.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, but it's like, dude, I'm supposedly a dreg in society, man. I'm a dumb truck driver. But I understand.
But your mind is, you a high IQ individual. You a little bit different. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, it's just because I come from the streets, man. I got street smarts. I might not be the book smart.
That's the real smarts, though.
That's street smarts, man. I come from the gutter, man.
If you had the book smarts, you'd be on your 3rd booster. But you got street smarts. If you look at the numbers, HJ, if you look at the numbers, a lot of them college-educated people didn't take that jab, man. No, the PhDs didn't.
Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah, I mean, the sheep did. A lot of the sheep did. Mm-hmm. If you took that shot, you're a sheep. I'm sorry, man. It doesn't mean I don't love you. Doesn't mean I don't respect your opinion in life, but you're a sheep.
Yeah.
I mean, it was funny. In the middle of COVID, I walked into a Walmart. Everybody had a mask on. Right, in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, tiny little town. You know what I'm saying? Walk in there, pull my hood over my face, and the lady walks up. I was like, "You have to put a mask on." I said, "Why?" Everyone's got a piece of cloth over there. I got the hood of my jacket, or the hood of my hoodie pulled over my face. It's the same piece of cloth these idiots are wearing. She's like, "You need to put a mask on." So I took the hood off of my face, walked back, grabbed my dog food, and was like, "Here we go." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they were like, "You can't come back." They banned me from the Walmart, man, because I said, "You're all a bunch of fucking sheep," and started making that noise walking out the door with my dog food. It's just how I got down at the time.
Savage. So, I love it though.
Just calling in to chime in, man, because when I catch it live, man, I can't help it, man. I just got to get my 2 cents in. But Tucker's wrong. That is how white people fight, man.
Yeah, you're a favorite on the channel, and we always love your calls, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Hotep and Build, man. Love the work, man. Keep the grift going, brother.
Hotep and Build. That's Rudy on the check-in. Strong Dad Protocol. What's your area code? So I know which one is you, because we definitely gotta hash some. Oh, you're the 720? All right, call in. Strong Dad Protocol is next. If you're not 720, I'm going to send you the voicemail so that we can get him in here, and then you'll come in after Strong Dad Protocol. We're going to get him in here first. I want to talk to him, be respectful of his time. We're going to talk about some Hotep things. There he is.
Call from
Strong Dad.
Trey, what up, man?
What's happening?
Good. Talk to me, man. Let's talk.
All right. So first of all, before we even get into it,
mm-hmm.
I'm not going to beat on your diet, but I hope you're working out. You know me.
Am I working out?
I hope you're working out.
Am I working out?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You.
Well, what do you consider working out?
Are you exercising outside of walking?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's all that matters. As long as you exercising, that's good.
Yeah. No, I exercise daily. It's part of my daily regimen to exercise. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Why'd you ask that though?
Oh, I just asked that because you said you're trying to slim down for Hotep Con. You know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure you're covering all them bases.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. No. This morning, actually, I started a new workout. I picked up a workout from DB, and I'm doing their 30-day arm program. I kind of want to just bulk up my arms a little bit. But previous to that, so last year I wanted to bulk up for Joe Rogan, and I created my own workout, and it was basically one set of push-ups to max. Okay. Now I got good genes, and that shit got me jacked in like 2 months, because at first I started out, I was probably at like maybe 30 push-ups. And then after a while, I was up to 50 push-ups. So now, but the thing, what I did was I would just add one push-up every day. So I do 20, then the next day it was 21. I'm sorry, 30, then do 31. Then the next day 32, and I kept adding one. And now this year I'm doing the pull-up plan. I'm really trying to work on my back and really my strength. So I'm on a pull-up plan right now.
Okay, good. Just making sure y'all know I'm all about that first.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not beasting like you, but I'm on it.
Word. All right, so this Hotep thing, I actually wanted to talk about this. I'm glad that you sent that message, because I think that the word Hotep is misunderstood by a lot of people who are really liking what we talk about.
Well, first, let's give some context to the chat, okay?
Yes, sir.
So go ahead and give the context of what we're about to talk about to the chat so they understand what we're talking about.
All right, so earlier today, I posted something saying that, I have a kind of dislike for those who put Hotep in their name without understanding it. I feel like it is a deterrent for those who really want or need Hotep. And also it's a poor representation, since people tend to go to them before they come to us. Well, 50-50, because they kind of come towards our way now, but it's kind of like a mix, a wash. So that's kind of where all of that came. And I believe you said you agree and disagree.
Yes.
So I suppose first, I would like to know where the disagree is.
Let me pull up the tweet. Hold on. Profile, replies. And I'm going to read the tweet so everybody can see what I responded to, and then I can really break it down. All right, right here. Here we go. Okay, so you said putting Hotep in your name before actually understanding what it truly means doesn't do anything but deter good people who belong here from not coming to us. We lose really good Hoteps because of the poor representation of those who misuse the name. So I agree, because before you put the name Hotep in your bio, you definitely got to be on point, right?
Yeah.
You definitely got to be on point. Now, where I disagree is Hotep is on Rogan, it's on Fox, it's on, 50 Cent's Power. Hotep is a brand now, and a lot of it has to do with the work of Hotep Nation, okay?
Yes.
Now, when you have a movement and your movement becomes popular, you're going to have people that attach yourself to said movement that don't exactly represent the movement. And there's actually not much Hotep Nation can do about that. And all groups have that. Right-wing groups have that. Left-wing groups have that. You have these fringe people who are just sort of LARPing off of the brand, right? So you have people that are LARP off the Hotep brand. Not everybody that got the Hotep name attached to them know what you and I know. They don't have those roots, right? Those Shaka Akmos roots. I remember we did a class with Shaka, right? So
yes,
they don't have that connection to that time period in Harlem where you had the black debates, right? They don't have that Bobby Hemmett, Khalid Muhammad roots. they don't have the maturity. Sometimes these kids are just 20 something years old and they want to belong to something, right?
Yes.
So where I disagree is when people decide not to associate, to me, they're not good Hoteps. Not the person that misrepresented us, the person that decided not to associate is not a good Hotep. Because what you're basically saying is you don't understand life. You don't understand movements. You don't understand organization. You are full of fear. And when you're a Hotep, you're supposed to be full of power and optimism, right? You would overstand and go, this cat over here doesn't represent Hotep, but these cats over here do, and I know that's where this started, so I'm not going to allow this one little fringe little kid to misrepresent and make me, part from the movement. So to me, I go, we didn't lose a really good Hotep, we lost a weak Hotep, because if you're going to allow some little kid playing on the internet to allow you to disassociate, what's going to happen when some big shit happens? You might turn on us. You see what I'm saying? They fucking FBI raided my house and find 20 million guns or something like that, right? But I actually didn't have guns, and it turns out that it was a false report. And then now you're like, well, let me disassociate and take Hotep out my bio. No, I want people a part of this movement that aren't going to jump ship as soon as one little thing goes wrong. So we didn't lose a strong Hotep. We lost a weak Hotep.
Okay. All right. It's kind of hard to disagree with that. It's kind of hard to disagree with that. I think that unfortunately Twitter is not the best place to add the most context, and I'm not the biggest fan of using the character limit. I feel like Hoteps should try to not use the character limit if we can help it. So I think that the nuance that perhaps I should add to it, to what I believe, is that it's not necessarily that I worry about losing good Hoteps. I think that what happens is that people come to Hotep. So a good example is, you have people who they were pro-black, right? I came to Hotep from the pro-black to conservative route. First you start off pro-black, then you either go super liberal or anti-liberal. Then you become conservative, center, something like that, maybe libertarian. And then if you're lucky, you make it to Hotep. And so my thing is that I see a lot of people, they'll be like, oh, well, I hate the left wing. I must be Hotep. Or, I'm conservative, but I'm not like Con Inc. I must be Hotep. I think that's the part to me that I don't want to say disturbs me, but whatever we could equate closest to that, because I want to see people gravitate towards Hotep in the way that we're trying to bring them, which is not a one path way. There's Hotep is not it is not inherently a African thing, right? It is not inherently African. It's just created in Africa. But, Marcus Aurelius is a Hotep. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
You look at the Greek world, and while we could say, yes, they were inspired by Africans, they are their thought process, right? That's Hotep ideology. And so my thing is that I wish more people coming to us would understand that first, because then what happens is, you got people with Hotep in their name trying to debate other Hoteps on concepts that are inherently Hotep, but they're going, oh, well, you're X, Y, and Z, or, you believe in reparations. That's not a Hotep thing, things like that. And so I suppose whenever when I say what I said, it's to say, there are people out there who need Hotep, right? I have some friends who I brought Hotep to, and on their own, they were mighty weak, right? It took a minute before they could even understand me on the Hotep level. And so while, yes, losing Hoteps, yes, we're losing weak Hoteps, there are some strong ones out there who haven't understood how to come into that. And I feel the deterrent is when, someone just, they agree with, one segment, they watch the show and then the next day they're Hotep. But people, that's not how that works. You don't become Hotep after one Hotep Jesus stream. You don't become Hotep after you read, one Khaled book or watch a video. You become Hotep progressively over time. And, even before I put it in my name, I had to go through those trials and tribulations. I had to learn why I am not a complete conservative. I had to learn what is conservative about me, what makes me Hotep, before I even could step into that realm. And if it wasn't for this channel, then I would not have been able to articulate that to others, because I would still be saying, people would ask me what Hotep meant back then. I would just say, African identity or something like that. But now, for me, Hotep is being a leader, whatever that means. If you are a parent, you are a husband, you're a community leader, a leader. And a leader has many traits that make them a good leader. The ability to understand, the ability to be wrong, to humble themselves, the ability to remain a student while teaching. These things, to me, are representative of Hotep. And when I see people throw it out, I mean, I guess that's why I say it's hard to disagree with you, because I wouldn't remove it from my name just because of these people, because I know what it means. I know that the importance of this movement requires people like us stay here. When we
exactly, that's my point. Why you worried about how the next man is repping instead of you stepping up and saying, no, this is what Hotep is?
Yes. So, and that's what I said. It is hard to disagree, because, we had some good Hoteps, but we did lose a few, like Yancey, he was Hotep. Hotep in his name. To me, Yancey still is Hotep, but he doesn't use the name anymore because of the way others display it. And when I look at, I don't see him as as weak, but I do see the thought process that deters you from that as, a weaker constitution. You're not, in the heat of the battle, if you see, a spy on your side, are you gonna leave? Are you gonna quit the army? Are you gonna, You made perfect sense when you say, when we lose them, we're not losing. Perhaps they're not ready yet, right? They're almost there.
Yeah. And
all it's going to take is, a few more moments in time for them to understand, I truly am Hotep. We had that super swole brother, that native black brother who was Hotep for a while, but, he adopted a different identity. And I don't think we deterred him. I think it was just a lack of understanding of what Hotep is. Obviously, this channel does the best for describing Hotep to those who aren't black, because that's another thing, is so many people think that Hotep is a black thing, but it's a mind thing. It's a mind thing. It's a spirit thing. And so I want people to recognize
Let's unpack
the truth of Hotep, the impact of Hotep, before claiming Hotep, because it might not even be for you.
Yeah. So let's unpack this, right? First of all, let's talk about the white black thing. When I think of Hotep, obviously we think of Egypt, aka Kemet, right? But Kemet eventually becomes Egypt. But Kemet is a metropolitan society where many people are interacting, and you don't find this idea of racism in Kemet. So you had cooperation between whites and blacks. There was no, for example, when you have people like Pythagoras, who goes into ancient Kemet and he studies the ways of mysticism, he enters into the secret society and does basically a 12-year program, okay? And they didn't go, yo, you're white, you can't be a part of this. They said, no, what's your intellectual level? You'll have to pass a few trials and tribulations, and it will impart this knowledge upon you. And he passes all the levels, all 12 years, and then he goes back to his native land and starts teaching, right? We see that with, who's the other one that studied in Africa? But all of the Greek philosophers, for the most part, studied in ancient Kemet, right?
Yeah.
So there is no white, we don't play the white-black game over here. We play the mind game. And that comes back to what you said before. You know, being Hotep means to be a student, right? It's not about teaching. It's about being a student. You have to be a student first because that means you're always learning. Now, let's talk about, before I go on to more about what Hotep is, to me, which goes back to what I was saying about Rollo Tomassi, when he said, what is a high value man? Sometimes people look to Hotep Jesus to say, what is Hotep? And I'm like, Rollo, like, you tell me. Let's sit down and collectively decide what this is, because I'm not Imhotep. I'm not the god of this thing. You know, I might be the most, you know, what is it? Visible. I might be the most visible brand, but it's a conglomeration of people. Now let's talk about Yancey really fast. I've noticed a long time ago Yancey took Hotep out of his bio. I've never reached out or, you know, said like, you know, I didn't feel no type way. You know, to me, Hotep serves you forever how long it serves you. And when it no longer serves you, you go on and you live your life. When I look at Yancey and the way he's living his life, to me, he's become a productive individual. Like I shared his tweet earlier about how many thousand acres he bought, right?
Ooh, man.
So,
king stuff right there.
Right. So to me, I'm like, Hotep Nation didn't hurt that guy. I'm sure we helped him mentally some way, somehow, so the job is done. He doesn't have to stay here at Hotep Nation. When we look at the young cat that we were talking about, right? Hotep Drelly, right? I know exactly who we're talking about. It's a little boy. His kid's like 20 years old. And to me, when I see people interacting with a little boy, I'm like, you can't do that publicly. Like when I see the little youngins acting up, I pull them to the side. I've had conversations with Drelly where I hop in the DMs. He's asked me questions and I just correct them privately. One thing about Hotep that I've always said is we should never have arguments publicly. That's the last thing you want to do. What you want to do is to say, hey, look, I want to talk to you about this. I'm about to DM you my number. Let's hash this out. Anytime you run an organization, you got to have a secret conversation. This is why you have secret societies and they're so powerful, because they don't do things in the light. They do it in the dark. So if you're going to have, like if me and Uncle Hotep have an argument, we're not going to do it publicly. Pull him to the side and privately. I've cussed Uncle Hotep out before privately, right? Over the littlest shit, just because I was in a bad mood. And then we turned the show on and it was like nothing ever happened. But I would never, like in public, try to argue with another Hotep. Which comes to my next point is, as a Hotep, you shouldn't be arguing online at all. Because you should be above the fray. What you need to do is you need to observe the arguments, then catalog the arguments either on paper, digitally, or in your mind, and then let your mind, your subconscious mind, work on what is the solution to these arguments? Where do these arguments come from? And then what you do is you publish work. I learned that in the 48 Laws of Power. Instead of arguing with people, you observe the argument and then you publish your work. So you might publish a book, or you'll go online and you'll publish a video and you'll talk indirectly to these people instead of directly. Okay. Now, the next point I want to talk about is 2 points I got next is membership, right? How do you become a Hotep? And you were talking about, you know, it's something that happens over time. And I do not disagree with that. However, I'm all here for the one-day Hotep because I'm a businessman. If you come to my channel and the first time you see me and you decide you're a Hotep and you want to put it in your bio, to me, it's free promotion for what we're trying to do. We're a nonprofit. We help the homeschooling community. So to me, it's a business. So whether you have it in your bio for a day or for a week or for 10 years, you know, I'd love to have you for life. But as long as you promoted the brand, remember what Tupac said, all promotion is good promotion. All publicity is good publicity. So even when you got like a Hotep Drelly out there misrepresenting, I'm like, he got Hotep in his bio. Y'all gonna have to argue with little nigga. Whether you don't like it or not, he's making Hotep known, even with his dumbass takes. So I'm looking back, watching y'all argue like, this is good for the Hotep Nation brand, because I'm a businessman. You see what I'm saying? Now, if I felt some type way about, you know, something he was doing, like I said before, it's happened in the past. I pulled him to the side in the DM. I said, yo, we don't move like that. You got to chill. Da, 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 da. I've done that. and I know you guys are arguing earlier about reparations, and I think his take on reparations is absolutely bogus. But again, I don't argue online, but it brings me to my next point, and this is the thing that he's violating, okay? This is the tenet that he's violating from Hotep Nation, and it's called being agnostic and being open-minded. He has already made up his mind that reparations is bad. And if you've seen any of my debates on reparations, I'm like, I'm not in the argument, I'm perceiving it, and I love to learn from both sides. And to me, that's Hotep, right? You're not saying no, you're not saying yes. You're like, let's collect the facts. And to me, he broke that tenet because he's saying, no, this is stupid, and he's talking down on reparations. But what I know is with Hotep Drelly, he trying to get his conservative grift on, okay? That boy is 20 years old, he sees the bag, and he's going after the bag with the Hotep badge. So that's why
maybe I'm slowing him down.
You're slowing him down.
I'm slowing him down. I'm slowing him down. Hey, you know,
he getting his grift on.
We talked about my extreme need to debate people.
Yes.
Before. And I feel like I've been doing somewhat better. You know, I've been trying to frame it.
Well, can I cut you off?
Less is, yeah, cut me off.
There's a certain phase in your life where debating will naturally no longer serve you. I never want to interrupt somebody when they're in their argumentative phase, because when I was in my argumentative phase, it made me who I am today. It made me appreciate being able not to debate, because those debates made me sharper. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think there's a way to have the debates online, but it don't work for me. Like Hotep Jesus, like it would make no sense for me, as big as my brand is, to argue with somebody below me. Or if it's somebody above me, I just pull you to my channel and we monetize and we turn it into good content and everybody learns from the experience. But if you're somebody who doesn't have that big brand, but you're like in your 30s, that's when I was in my argumentative phase. So I would never go, yo, Strong Dad, stop arguing on Twitter, because what I could do is I could stunt your growth like you're stunting Hotep Drelly's growth. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
okay.
I don't like fucking with people's timelines. I do not fucking, all I say is, yo, don't argue with people online, but that don't apply to everybody. And I watch you have these arguments, and to myself, I'm like, I wouldn't do that. But I appreciate that you're doing it. You see what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, at some point, you're going to come to a certain level where you're going to be like, yeah, I'm not even going to have this conversation.
I'm almost halfway there.
You probably halfway there. You probably halfway there.
I'm walking out of my Ali Shakur phase.
There you go.
You know,
that's what it is. That's what it was. The Ali Shakur phase. Yes.
It takes a minute. It takes a minute, especially now. Now being a father, I'm starting to see things a lot different, and it's making me, I don't know, I feel like there's a point where you want to make things better for everyone before you realize you can only make them better for yourself. So it's, I'm almost there, but now for me, it's specific things. I'm really trying to reel it back on specific things. I feel like me and Drelly, I think we have like a love-hate relationship. I hate his takes, but I love going back and forth with him, because I actually don't have a real reason, to be honest.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, now that I try to articulate it, I don't even actually have a real reason, I think.
But he need somebody to check his ass. Right? Like, I'm like, how old are you? 32, 33?
35.
Okay, you're 35, right? So I turned 43 this year. So I'm older than you older than him, right? So I'm up here in the old man watching y'all argue, right? So I'm looking like, yeah, I'm not gonna correct Drelly, but Trey need to check that nigga, because y'all closer in age. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when I see it, notice I seen it and I didn't step in. I spoke to you and I said, I agree or disagree, call in. As you can see, turn it into content, teaching lesson, gotta have a conversation, right? But
that's right.
Every youngin needed somebody to check him. Who's my mentor? Shaka. Every time I talk to Shaka, he checking me 4 or 5 times in an hour conversation. Like, no, that's incorrect. That's incorrect. But the Shaka's 50-something years old. So there's a hierarchy to this thing. You know what I'm saying? So when I saw y'all argue, I never butt in. I just watched. And I'm like, this is interesting. This is pretty cool. I like this. This is great for the ecosystem.
I feel like, like part of me feels like, when I come at these ideas, it helps people understand and gravitate closer to Hotep, because then they get to see it being worked out. But I understand the idea of, not making it overly public, right? Like me and him, we used to go at it a little heavier than we have been.
Facts.
And when we were going at it heavier, I remember you asking me to call in and tell me, you need to stop. You need to, you're being emotional like a liberal.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
That's what you said to me. And it stuck. It stuck.
Yeah.
And I backed off for quite a bit. Went to Shaka Almos's class. I dove back into my conscious studies. I dove back into my historical studies. I got the Patriot Report, right?
Yeah.
I made all of these progressive steps forward. And now I feel like now I have what it takes to combat these ideas without them seeming emotional. I feel like
yes, that's what I wanted. I wanted you to be more zen in your debate.
Exactly, right? Because I mean, before a lot of these things, and I was still in the deep African identity stage before, and I think that coming through Hotep in that way, I came into Hotep essentially the same direction that Drelly came in. I just couldn't catch the conservative drift like he did.
Right.
My first account was the Black Conservative. I had maybe 100 followers. So I understand that perspective. I think that it's just, my extreme need to want to walk him towards my direction. But perhaps that's just not the right way. You're right. I'm messing up his grift right now, because what if that takes off and he becomes that conservative grifter he wants to be? I can't make a doppelganger.
Well, I think what you need to do is you have to use the opportunity to sharpen your leadership skills.
Okay.
Right? See, it's one thing to advise somebody on how you think, and it's another thing to advise somebody on how they should think on their own better. Right? So that comes back to like Rollo Tomassi. Rollo Tomassi, he says he doesn't give out prescriptions, but if you read my book, Unbreakable Rules of Masculinity, I give out a lot of prescriptions, basically do A, B, and C. And Rollo doesn't do that. He just helps you understand the situation, and you get to decide how you make those decisions. And I think that's a very more Socratic method of coming to conclusions. So that's what I would say with him. Be more Socratic in your approach to him. Ask him more questions to make him think, as opposed to talking to him. Ask him a really smart question, and you'll screw his whole head up.
I understand that. I understand that fully.
Yeah.
I understand that fully. I just want to say something about Rollo.
Okay.
I like and don't like Rollo.
Okay, why?
I like his grift, right? I like his grift, but for me, I've been around a lot of real dudes, a lot of, quote unquote, perceived high value, low value. But for me, what I feel is that Rollo does not as good what Hotep Nation does at the best. I just don't see a strong male representative in him.
Really?
I wouldn't call myself a strong male. Others would call me that, but I don't call myself anything besides my name and Hotep. So for me, when I look at him, I don't like when we speak or when I see you conduct yourself, I see the leadership qualities that make me want to learn, peep game, so that I can display these leaders. I don't see these things in him.
Yeah.
And perhaps it's just, my idea of masculinity, or my idea. I just feel like the manosphere does less for men than what Hotep does. I feel like Hotep does what the Manosphere wishes it could do. And for me, that's how I personally see Rollo.
Well, I think
I understand him.
Well, I think that the issue is because he's specialization and we're generalization, right? So where he's attacking, just dating relationship dynamics and and dating, we talk about more than that. And I think that's why you get more fulfillment from us, because we don't specialize in that arena. But I think he's a fabulous leader in that space. I think he's one of the best leaders in that space. He's been very genuine to me. He's been, a big help to me. I'm going to go see him in June, be on his podcast, Access Vegas.
Okay.
But I got to disagree. I think it's just that. And also I think it's a cultural difference. Like, you're black, I'm black. So you're going to connect more with me than you would a white guy from, Arizona, wherever he's from, with long hair that's in a rock band, right? Like, white men, they deliver the message differently than black men. So you're gonna like my message more because we're just more culturally alike. And that's why I was talking about, like, when some people listen to like the Quartering or, Styx Hexenhammer or some of these guys, and I go like, why do people listen to these people? And I love Styx Hexenhammer, I love, Quartering, but I'm just like, the only disparity I have is they just sound like white boys. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't get it, right? Because I don't understand white culture, but I love observing them because I see how people attached it to them, and I'm like, it's beautiful how people attach to them, but I think it's just a cultural difference.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
And this Nick Fuentes, this is for Cam. I know you watching. This is Cassius Cam. I respect that Nick defended himself, but that was some sissy swinging.
I think he was punching him like it was his little brother.
That's like, when I saw the clip, before I read the caption, I thought, oh, is this like a brother fight or something like that, like a family fight? You know what I'm saying? I didn't even realize it was Nick Fuentes until I actually popped onto the tweet itself.
Yeah.
I know that people have a love affair with Nick. I don't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know dudes like Nick. I was locked up with dudes like Nick, and I feel
no, you
like
wasn't. You was not locked up with dudes like Nick. No,
yes,
there was much worse.
Okay, yes. From a violence perspective, they were definitely much worse.
Yeah.
But from an intelligence perspective, I feel like I don't know, man. I just feel like Conservative Inc. itself could do with a revamping, some new leadership. I know he's supposed to be the young new leadership. I don't know if he's necessarily conservative leadership or if he's just leadership for like the counter within Conservative Inc.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like if conservatives really want to win this round, they need to find a new way to represent their fringe ideas and their inside ideas, because they're not doing it for us. Watching Alex Stein's clip, that makes me think, oh, we're about to lose like 100 black potential conservatives off of that right there. Like, I don't want that, because I want conservatives to win. I want Connick to win this time around. So from that perspective, I don't see it as a win, and I feel like Nick could use some fighting classes. I know that's something Cam is probably thinking.
Well, I would say I don't think Nick punched like a sissy. I've seen some sissy punch. You do the windmill thing. I've seen some sissy punch. Oh. He didn't punch like a sissy. He just punched like the dude. Like he punched the dude as if he was not afraid of him.
Like a check punch?
Yeah, like I'm just checking you. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'll give him that. That's what I said. I'm glad he defended himself to whatever degree. Obviously didn't look like that much of a threat to me, but I'm glad he did that. But it was still kind of soft to me.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah, that's my sense. You know what I'm saying? Also, my wife just asked something. She said, "Is Trump able to be reelected?"
Yeah.
He is?
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought he was impeached.
No, that's not how impeachment works.
That's not how it works?
No. Impeachment is basically a slap on the wrist. It's basically saying, hey, you did something bad.
Didn't Clinton get impeached?
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what I thought. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure I was correct on that.
Yeah, go do your civil due diligence and read up on what, because there's different types of impeachments too. But his I believe is the more minor version.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I need to understand that concept a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's all I got. Hotep is a beautiful thing. I'm glad that we have it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm glad we had to have this conversation about it. Hotep and Bill.
Hotep and Bill. Yo, where's Zach at? Is Zach in the chat crying? Chat, what happened with Zach? What was he mad about? What did he want to argue about? Why was he uptight? What happened? I was trying to keep up with the chat, but I'm like, it was just too hard. Wait, hold on. Looked like Jimmy Doss limited him. Oh, Jimmy Doss. Did Jimmy Doss mess it up?
Call from
Taylor Madden.
Taylor, what up, man? You on the line? What's up, bro? Talk to me, man.
Hey, I got a few things. I'm a little bit behind on the show. I started at the beginning and then I jumped forward to the end.
Okay.
So maybe certain things have been covered, but I don't know. But real fast on the last thing with impeachment. Impeachment means it goes to the Senate, and the Senate decides if it's for removal. So Trump basically got, if you want to talk about it in like regular police standards, he was indicted, but then he was found innocent. That's probably more accurate. Like the prosecutors brought it to the judge, but he was found innocent, and that's how it happened twice. So he wasn't removed. He was found innocent. Innocent's the wrong word but just as a correlation.
Right. I appreciate that that clarification.
Yeah. Okay. On another thing, and kind of mixing with the Drelly conversation, which big fan of his energy, and all the way going back to Xavier, the PragerU guy. Like when you're a new convert, you come with a lot of energy, but not a lot of wisdom.
Yes.
And I don't think there's anything that you can do to stop that, whether it's a religious convert, a political convert, or anything like that. There's nothing you can do to stop that. And we want you to express your energy. We're just hoping you get to wisdom.
Yes. Very well said, sir. Very, very well said. That's exactly it.
Yeah. I got one other question for you, completely off topic, but I was thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking, if DeSantis decides not to run, will that have been the smartest play ever if this was in his entire back pocket? Because he gets all the credibility, he gets his name brought up over and over and over and over again. He doesn't have to deal with any of the backlash of facing Trump, and he gets to be on the winning side on like 3 different angles. If DeSantis's grift is to pump fake a run for 2024 and to actually run later, I think it's beyond a brilliant move. Just thinking about it.
So you saying his grift levels are over 9,000? I like that.
I could be wrong. He could announce it tomorrow, and but if he decides not to run, I think it's just beyond brilliant move.
Yeah. No, that's dope. I like that. That's it's pretty prescient of you. Yeah.
I'll let you go. That's my spiel.
Yo, Hotep and Bill, bro. That's Hotep, one of our Hoteps on the check-in. Zach, thank you for the. So Zach, if you're listening, call in. Jimmy Doss accidentally limited you, so I hope you are still there, and there was an accident. I've had that happen too, where I was on a Twitter space one time, and I went to do something, I think mute somebody, and I accidentally kicked them out. So it happens, a little mouse slip. Zach said it's all about CNN sound bites. Yeah. The lines are open. Y'all can call back in. John Freeman. Hold on.
Call from
Cannon, what up, bro? Talk to me, man.
What's up, yo? Question.
Hotep Cannon on the line.
Yo, did he have on penny loafers, yo?
You said what?
The dude that kicked Nick, did he have on penny loafers? Did he have on loafers?
Yeah, I think he had on some penny loafers. I saw his shoes too, yo.
You can't let. I guess you got. don't know. I guess you gotta let somebody with penny loafers slide a little bit, but you do gotta check them.
Yeah.
You can't look weak on the internet. Let a nigga with penny loafers kick you.
Word. Yeah. Because you can't even go too hard either, you know? Because
right, yeah. You just beat up a nigga in penny loafers in a sweater.
Word.
You know, but you can't. But you can't get punked by a man in a penny loafers in a sweater either.
Exactly.
Man.
Yeah.
Yo, your boy Trump gave a masterclass last night. Yo, CNN was on red alert. They didn't know what to do. They was cutting a commercial. I'm sure it was bad. He whooped them, and then what's his name? Byron Donalds went on there and straight scorched earth on the panel. It was bad. It looked like he was whooping them so bad on that panel. It looked like Van Jones was ready to start crying again. But them panels, they pulled them panels together quick because they realized the way that town hall was going. It was not going in their favor.
Yeah. I think they wanted the ratings at the very least. Whoever's PD over there probably wanted the ratings, but the rest of them were trying to save face and virtue signal. But first of all, they had all those people on that panel. Will let you know that none of those people were interesting, because if you have to have all those people on a panel, then somebody's just not doing their job. So just goes. It's just like they limit the pool that people choose from to like these milquetoast people, and they want these like weak ass takes, and then that's what you get, like 25 people on a panel, and nobody's really paying attention except to Byron Donald.
Yeah, because it was crazy. They even had their own version of Candace Owens on there last night.
Oh man,
it was crazy. I was sitting there. I told people, as soon as I heard some of the things Trump said, I said, all right. I told people, I said, they're gonna go after the fact that he called the black man. They did immediately. I said they're gonna go after him, saying that she was nasty. The commentator, and I said they're gonna go after him sliding shorty that just won that civil suit, which I still don't understand.
Yeah.
Then that footage or that cook folk surfaced of her trying to hit on Anderson Cooper.
Wait, what?
Live on TV. When I seen it, I remember this. She was getting interviewed by Anderson Cooper.
And
it seemed like she was trying to hit on Anderson Cooper a little bit.
Really?
Like before he went to commercial break. Yeah. I was just like, she was giving him the eye, like, what, you're interesting to talk to. I was like, oh God, like, shorty, you supposed to be sitting there trying to be a victim.
Yeah.
You trying to get got.
Yeah, that lady was a weirdo, man. She was a straight up weirdo.
Yeah, they was calling her back as crazy back then. Now all of a sudden she's a champion.
Yeah.
Oh man, now you got all the copycats coming out. Some 81-year-old lady said Donnie T tried to get her on an airplane.
Oh my God.
And then when we saw a few years later, you that C word from the airplane. I'm like, oh my God, here we go.
Yeah.
Everybody about to try to get a bag.
Of course. You try to Bill Cosby him. That's what they do to all powerful men.
Exactly. And this funny part is that he want all the smoke. He like, bring it.
Yep.
Bring it.
Yep.
Man, but he did a fantastic job last night. It was masterful.
Yeah.
Too bad YouTube hid my stream for 13 hours.
Yeah, but it's back now, right?
It's back. It came back. It was searchable after like around 1 o'clock. It was searchable. I was like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah, CNN.
Wait till everything died down.
CNN had to release that copyright probably. They was like, nah, we need these clicks, man. Let Cannon griff.
Probably, but that was one for the history books last night.
Absolutely.
I think immediately the first 10 minutes, I think CNN realized they screwed up.
Right.
Anyway, I appreciate you guys. I like that conversation you on Trey just had, man. That was some wisdom right there. I appreciate y'all for that.
Oh, no doubt. So necessary. We got to figure this Hotep thing out.
Definitely. Man, I ain't gonna hold you up, bro.
All right, Hotep and Bill, bro. I'll see you, Hotep Con.
Hotep and Bill. Yep.
Hotep Cannon on the line. Y'all might go to the firing range with him if you're at Hotep Con. He gonna take you, have a nice VIP experience, shoot some automatic, semi-automatic weapons. It's gonna be fun. John Friedman, new member. I know the phone lines was hot. People were calling in. Go ahead, hit that button. We still here. I know we had 2 callers try to get in. Troublemaker Jonah, he says, Who's this? Oh, this is Jonah.
Call from
Chaz.
Oh, that's yo, Chaz. You on the line? What's up?
Not much, not much.
Is this Zach?
The show's been no.
Oh,
Chaz.
okay. Chaz. Okay, what up, man? Talk to me.
Yeah, DJ Chaz. Not much. I've been watching the show. I got a lot of takes, so I'll try and make it quick. From the beginning, you on the migrant workers and Biden and his new law that he's trying to pass.
Yeah.
With locking them up or making it felony.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one, that's just taking more money out of taxpayers. So again, kind of going against the people of like what the Democratic Party actually support or their marketing says that they're for.
Right.
So that doesn't help. But I can kind of see that, you know, they can try to placate to the blacks to kind of lessen the amount of arrest for that, maybe like legalizing marijuana federally, something like that, and then just filling their quota for the prisons with the people crossing the border illegally.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I can kind of see a larger play, and this is like something that I can see possibly in years down the line, the effect of it. It's not something that would be like, okay, we'll see this in like a year or two, or if like through the next election.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just nasty all in all. It just really shows to who he really is and you know what he stands for. And you know, if the quote woke decide to look at it, they're actually going to see what they actually stand for. You know, what Trump was talking about building the wall and everything else in the border, and them just like trying to go back. I can see that they're going to try to spin the numbers once they do go back and be like, see, we helped the illegal border crossings by X amount of %. Meanwhile, they're just bringing it back to homeostasis pretty much.
Right, but it's not homeostasis because they slowed down Trump in the border. It's actually worse than it was before.
Exactly, but the numbers will reflect that, right? Because at the end of the day, when you play with the numbers and they're not showing you what they're making the metrics off of, right? They're just saying that this is what it's built off of.
Right.
So I mean, this is what it is. So if it's larger than, you know, the mainstream Americans and be like, oh yeah, he did do good. You know, they're just going to look at the talking points of the media saying like, hey, it went up. They're not really going to look at the foundations of what the numbers are and where they were and everything else. They're not going to do that research.
Right. But he wouldn't hear. Yeah. No, that's true. That's true.
So the conversation that you had with Black.
No, go ahead. I'm thinking about something else. Chad texted me. I'm trying to think about what he said.
Got you. What the conversation that you had with Black Hotep was definitely dope. I think that conversation is great. I think that try not to use conversation twice to describe something. A debate is different than a conversation. I think that what your platform does is have a conversation.
Right.
And that's what I feel that the Hoteps really are about, right? To kind of see exactly what your point is and not and be able to make an argument but not necessarily argue, right? To be able to state what your side is.
But my thing is you got to have a lot of nasty, ugly debates and arguments to get to the point where you can have a good conversation. Like I'm a master. I've mastered debate and nasty arguing. For example, if you go back and you look at the tape with me and Brandon Tatum, right? Going into that debate, my plan was to frustrate him, and I did that. He threatened me, right? But through that, I gained the wisdom of, well, how productive was that? Like, who did we help with that? That was more of a selfish thing, right? And then all of my Twitter arguments that I had when I was Ali Shakur. But you need to have all of this bad behavior to understand the power of good behavior. You really don't get the wisdom without having the chinks and the flaws.
Of course. I mean, and that's what makes you battle ready in a sense, right? Because when people bring up debates, when people bring up topics, you're able to see both sides, right?
Yeah.
So without that, you're not able to kind of counteract or to, quell their want to build not build, but to go to their ego and, do little things like that. And I think that that's what's important is, with maturity comes, kind of killing the ego and really looking to make sure that you're right? Because at the end of the day, you're not, a lot of conversations that you've had, you've always asked, like, what exactly is it? And, if your stance is actually correct, like you sit there and challenge your own stance to somebody that's strong on an opposing stance.
Yeah. What's your next point?
Crap. What was my other? One other point, but I totally forgot at this point.
That's all good. It's all good. If you remember it, catch me on the next stream. I appreciate the calling. Hotep and Bill. Right. I know we had another caller try to get in. I sent you to the VM. I think it was 530 and 225. 225 and 530. Hit me back. We get you in here now. Super chats over on Rumble. Sent a DM. YouTube won't accept my card. Shadow banning. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Jonah. Jimmy Doss. Bump stocks did open the door for more ATF unilaterally making rules.
Call from
DD Hotep.
DD Hotep, you on line with Hotep. What up, man? Talk to me.
Oh, not much, man. I was just calling that conversation that you were having earlier about the whole impact on shoes. I know that was way back an hour and a half or so ago. But man, it is crazy just how much of that marketing has made shoes seem like something. Oh, you can't live without them. Like, oh, it's it's the worst thing in the world if you don't have shoes. It's like, but is it really though?
Right.
Like, like my wife, she's going to school right now. She's in her third semester of physical therapy school. And it's crazy how much she'll come home and she's like, oh, hey, did you know that people, a lot of the times they have back issues, it stems from their ankles or their hips or their knees not being right or all kinds of stuff like that. And I'm just like, man, that's kind of crazy. I was like, so what's the solution? And, it was like, well, just don't wear shoes, strengthen your body,
Exactly.
It seems to be the key to everything. It's just like, man, if you can strengthen your body, you're just about as good as you can get,
It's man's ego that thinks he can improve on God's inventions.
Amen to that.
And that's the problem.
Oh, yeah,
but
sure.
shoes are a thing for either protection of the elements or style. You want to look good, but I try not to wear them.
Yeah, well, I know she was a gymnast, like a really high level gymnast when she was in high school and got injured and stuff, and going into she was gonna go do gymnastics and cheer in college and got injured. And she was sitting there, she had 5 knee surgeries her senior year and all this kind of stuff. It was just her body was all torn up. And we went back in because she hurt her hip, and we were looking at it, and the doctor was like, hey, this probably has something to do with your back or your knees. And she was like, well, I had a bunch of knee surgeries, and you would think that they would see something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And her surgeon was like, yeah, but if they didn't look at your back, he was like, the whole body is a chain.
Yeah.
If your neck hurts, it's not because of your neck.
Yeah, it's something else. All of this is connected, man. Even knee problems often result in having weak legs. You need those muscles and those fibers to hold everything together. So when people aren't doing, their daily squats or whatever exercises it is, because you used to get this going back to what we were talking about before about, Africans back in the hut days. Well, guess what? They didn't have those knee problems. They didn't have those back problems because they were barefoot. They got their exercise because they had to walk 10 miles to do whatever, So today, because we're sitting at a desk all the time, you got to take a moment and drop down and, do, your sets of squats. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
But, the phone lines is hot, man. We're going to get back to you, bro. Hotep and Bill.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
Salute. Go ahead, 530. Cam, get in here, man. And I know 225 is in here. 225. I'm gonna get you in here, but I gotta take Cam next. Cam 530, get in here, ASAP. Y'all got me working overtime today, and I don't mind it. You know, I'm here to work for y'all. Y'all are my bosses. So Jimmy Doss, he said it did suck, but I'm glad he brought up that trash NRA had the idea. I support Firearms Policy Coalition and GOA Trump 2024.
Call from
Cassius Cam.
Cassius Cam on the line.
Man.
What up? What up? What up? How you feeling, bro?
I'm good, man. I just got back from a little fire assignment. Just chilling out for the day.
In case anybody doesn't know, Cassius Cam does great work. He does well, tell her what you do.
I'm a wildland firefighter. At this point in the season, we're just finishing up like control burns. So just like burning understories and stuff, reducing fuels to like mitigate fire danger. But I know New Mexico's popping right now, Oklahoma's popping right now, so I'll be in the fray here shortly. So getting ready for that.
Okay, dope. So y'all see it. He out here doing real work. But what you want to talk about?
I was out in the forest for about 2 weeks, 10 days, something like that, and I was just getting all caught up and seeing all the reparations talk and everything going on, and Nick Fuentes sissy fighting and all this shit, man. I'm just tired of the face of conservative media being these types of these ninnies, man. Like, how are you going to be the face of conservatism? You can't conserve an ass whooping.
Well,
when
I don't know if I agree with him being a sissy. I feel like those punches were like letting people know, like, he wasn't afraid of dude. Those are like how you punch your little brother.
You slap somebody, then. You know what I mean?
Now it's the Will Smith situation all over.
Yeah, again. but a real good one though. I mean, you grab your shoelaces and you smack them. You give them a good one. If you don't feel threatened by somebody.
YouTube, we do not condone violence. But go ahead.
We do not condone. But what I'm saying is now everybody knows that Nick Fuentes can't punch. I think it was a worse look for him to go at a dude like that.
But it wasn't like it was a fight though. Like, I wouldn't say Nick can't punch. I wouldn't say Nick can't punch from that clip. I would say Nick did not feel.
I'm telling you, Nick can't punch from that clip. I watch people punch all day. It's just he's just gonna resort to the first thing he can do, and it's just. I just want to know how we can set up this Ben Shapiro Nick Fuentes thing.
Well, he's not a trained fighter. I would agree with that. But I think if you had put him in the ring and he had a moment to sort of reset, he could punch. I think he could punch like a fighter, but like he doesn't have that reflex. I get what you're saying. Like, he didn't have that reflex. Like if the dude would have kicked me like that, he would have been on his back, right? Because first of all, my reflex would have caught his foot. I'd have threw his foot in the air. He'd have been on the ground, and I'd have just walked away, right? I wouldn't resort to punching. But also, like, I've trained before, right? Like, you saw that with the clip with the girl in New York with me, right? And everybody was like, yo, Hotep went straight into the Philly shell. And it's just like, well, I've trained before. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's reflexes are different, but I don't think he has a fighter's reflexes. But I also don't think he punched like a sissy. He just didn't punch like a fighter.
I'm just hypercritical of that kind of stuff.
Well, you're an MMA guy. You fight. That's what you do. So, of course, you're going to be hypercritical.
And I've just been going back and forth. Like, I had posted last week, I took a picture of me on the fire line. It was a badass picture, too. And I posted, I said, the real face of conservative values.
Yeah.
And I had a bunch of goofies in my DMs, like Walsh followers and Cernos and stuff like that, just saying stuff like you can't attach like blue collar, like being a blue collar hard person with conservative values and stuff. And that's not really my point. It's just the whole face in the mainstream anyway, for like conservative media, it's like these loafer wearing dudes, and there's just like no grit behind it. And I think that's where they take all these L's.
When I think of conservatives, I think of blue collar work.
And that's the thing. Instead of going to these colleges where they make young college people look stupid,
yeah,
why aren't they galvanizing this working class? Why aren't they spending their time doing those things?
Right.
You know, I can't do it. I'm at work.
Right.
You know, the only thing I can do is I can drop a banger every now and then, but other than that, I'm out in the field working.
Yeah.
And I just feel like they could better serve their time galvanizing those people that are building bridges, building buildings, putting out fires, saving people, instead of going to these college campuses and just arguing with fucking they-thems.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree. Totally agree. But I appreciate the call in. Chad about to call in. We gotta see what he about to say.
All right. Good tapping in with y'all. Hotep and Build. I'll keep y'all updated on what's going on.
Stay safe. We appreciate your work out there, man. Hotep and Build.
All right. Be easy. Love y'all.
Cassius Cam. Cassius Cam made the intro video. Well, not the video, the song, the intro song, The Hotep's Been Told You. Hopefully you'll be here at 8 p.m. tonight for our premiere show, Hotep's Been Told You with Uncle Hotep. And you'll see Cassius Cam on the screen. We shot that out in Las Vegas at the first Hotep Con. We got Chad calling in. I didn't know that was Chad's area code. I don't know these area codes too well. Here he is.
Call from
Chad-a-lag. Hotep Nebuchadnezzar on the line. What up, man? Talk to me.
Bro, I feel like it's like the 90s, early 2000s call-in radio. I gotta like listen for cues when it sounds like the calls wrap it up so I can call in. Grift levels on 9,000. Shit, try 9 billion. Phone lines are on fire.
They on fire tonight.
God.
They on fire today,
Bro, you
man.
know how many times I just started making up names. I felt like Uncle Hotep driving through the Chick-fil-A line. I just kept making up names for the little Google Voice lady. I was like, call me the alligator hunter. A simple white man, simple-minded white man. Because you said I'm simple-minded because I didn't know that Rollo was trolling. That's what I was calling. Like, look, sometimes some of us out here are just, being genuine, honest people. We don't recognize a troll when like I see like how the manosphere works.
You didn't recognize he was trolling?
Say that kind of shit. I didn't know he was trolling. No, like
Come on, Chad.
Look,
You connected to one of the biggest trolls, and you didn't know?
No, look. So like the fresh and fit stuff, like that sounds like some shit that would come out of Myron's mouth, like that, and he'd be serious. And so I'm like, I don't know, like these people like roll together. I don't. Like I'm lost in this whole sea of. That's why I wanted to talk. And maybe we could set this up. But like me, you, and Trey, we should probably talk about like the difference between the game for the game's sake and like how to play the game successfully in the dating scene versus like building a legacy and building an empire and what it means to actually like fulfill a Hotep or a progenitive. The way I look at it is like there's progeneracy and there's degeneracy.
Okay.
And I don't think there's a whole lot of difference. People probably aren't going to like this, but I don't care. There's not a whole lot of difference between the Rainbow Mafia and the degeneracy that is that we are seeing in full force, and like the whole like disposable women just go out there, play the game, and do this thing. Your article about the first date costing $1,000. I don't disagree with the headline. I just think that the money should be spent on something different. I think you should spend $1,000 on taking this girl that you want to date, take her parents and her siblings, and your parents and your siblings, and y'all all have to sit at the table together and have dinner on the first date. Because if you are really trying to build a future, that's what you're going to have to be dealing with, holidays and everything else going from this point forward. Otherwise, if you just want to play around, like, I don't know, like,
let me cut you off.
What are we even really spending money on in the first place?
Let me cut you off, because I had a similar thought the other day. I was like, really in dating, what you need like somebody's baby, okay? Like, you and this girl need to be stuck in this house, and you gotta like see how she deals with a baby, right? And raising children.
You got to babysit together.
Yeah, you got to babysit together. That's the first date. Like, let's babysit together. And you took it to the next level where you're like, yo, the parents got to be there, the siblings got to be there. You got to sit down and talk, because when you marry a woman, you marry her family, and I need to know, what is your daddy like? What's your mama like? Because if they weird, I got to check out.
Hey, listen, it's not just that. You might want to have Abuela and everybody else there too, because you need to know if Tammy used to be Timmy or not. And Granny's the only one who's going to tell you.
Granny gonna be like, you know, Erica used to be Eric when I knew the motherfucker.
That's right, because she don't got that filter. We are entering into dangerous times, and you need to make sure that the woman that you were going out on a date with is actually the woman that you were going out on a date with, and not an X-Man.
Yes. Absolutely.
Because the X-Men are out in full force now. Like, I don't know, man.
I mean, the way the Hotep's plan on setting up the future is, you know, some Mr. Beast type situation where we're gonna buy a town, right? But I really think that dating should be coordinated by the parents. It should be what do they call it? Like arranged marriages?
I just think like make courting rituals great again.
Correct. Well, what I'm picturing is I like to copy off the Jewish faith, because they just got this shit down pat. They understand life, and they'll have these parties where the boys and the girls, in some situations, if you're dealing with like Orthodox, obviously they're separate. But sometimes, in some of their cultures, they'll have parties, and that the boys and the girls, they'll mingle, and whoever connects with who, but that everybody in that community has the same values and the same socioeconomic background, right? So I believe that's how it should be done. We should have a tight-knit community where my kids could potentially date your kids, and they hang out, and if my son likes your daughter, or he likes the next door neighbor's daughter, whatever it is, and then let that connection, grow from there. But that's sort of coordinated, that's sort of arranged, but the dating pool should not be outside of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the benefits. Like, so if you're not homeschooling, at the very least, you should be in like some sort of private school, maybe even like a faith-based private school situation, and go into church, because then that's when you get to. That's one of the things. Like, I met my wife in like the first day of college, but like I had been seeing her at church for years before that, before we actually like started talking to each other, because we were going to the same church, and like I didn't know her name, but I knew who she was, and then like after we started having kids, she made it like a point that she specifically made sure she developed relationships with the parents, the moms of all the kids that our kids hung out with at school, all their classmates and everything. Then you can tell, like, oh no, this I can see this tree, and the fruit is going to be something I don't want my kid around. Yep. Or on the flip side is, no, you know what? If my kid ends up being good friends with this person, they're not going to get into trouble, or they're going to, they end up dating them. It's, there's not going to be any problems. There's something to be said for, like, yes, developing relationships with the parents of the people who your kids are going to be hanging around with, because so often, like, kids just go off on their own with their friends, and they get into all kinds of stuff. You don't know these kids, let alone their parents. But if you know their parents, and you know a lot more, you learn a lot more about the kids. All of my kids' friends, they come hang out at our house. It's a thing. Like, I don't know. I'm blessed that way, but I think the more you can try to make that happen, make your home a place that your kids and your kids' friends feel. I'm not saying you have to be friends to your kids, but you can be like a place where they know that they can feel safe, but also that they know they're going to be held accountable.
Okay.
You know?
Oh shit!
So
breaking
it's,
news. Doe Dubes is back on Twitter.
Oh, let's go! I see it. All right, let's go. The world is over. It's Twitter might actually be fun again.
Uh-oh.
For real now. All right.
Uh-oh, it's lit. It's lit.
We gotta go. We gotta get Doe Dukes to call in.
Yeah.
Have a celebration. Damn. That's good stuff. But no, I did not know that Rollo was trolling, and that I responded. I was like, this vasectomy thing is retarded. What are you talking about? I mean, I get it now to a certain degree, but I don't know. Did it really have that? Did it have the effect of having that conversation? So I don't think anybody still had the conversation yet about what a high value man is. So I don't know.
It's subjective.
Yeah. Oh, I know it is. I'm just saying, the conversation is. I don't know. I'm still struggling to see how that tweet helped to foster that conversation, I guess.
Because with people, it's really not. It did foster the conversation because people are talking about it. Whether it's productive or not is another conversation. That's like saying was what Scott Adams did productive, right? When he said white people should move away from black people, right? That comes back to that argument where Sonny Johnson goes, it wasn't productive, and Hotep Jesus goes, I think it was productive. Mostly because the situation happened on my channel, but it
was certainly productive for the numbers. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, the conversation still happened, right? Oh, Lauren's in the chat. What up, Lauren?
I think there was something to that. It was a triggering type deal, but
it's triggering.
Yes, it had some productive moments because there were tons of spaces and conversations that came out of that. But I don't know. I try to be careful with that kind of stuff.
Kids
first of all, I don't have the level of platform that somebody like Scott or even Rollo has to be able to push that kind of thing and get away with it. But it can have that impact. I just try to be more careful and I keep my trolling to a minimum when at all possible. But
yeah,
anyway,
absolutely.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate the conversation you and Trey had about Drelly and just about that whole thing. The one thing I would say that there is one thing that you can do is, hey, if you're jumping onto the scene and you're joining something new, like what Taylor was saying, new converts are always going to be the most zealous because they just found this thing and it is like they have found the panacea. Just, if you can, cool your jets and keep your comments to a minimum. Be quiet for a little while. Once you put that that new uniform on, keep quiet and observe and see how the masters are operating before you start jumping in on everything, because yes, you can turn some people to away to look at it in a way that it shouldn't be looked at, because they see everybody in the uniform and they're like, oh shit, this guy's wearing the uniform too, damn.
Yeah.
So just hold off on and I'm saying that to the young people or to the people who are new to the movement. Just chill for a minute, watch and observe, and then you'll see where you can kind of fit in, and then you get to be have your own voice, but you understand like where you're not contaminating what is something that's really good.
Right. Yeah. No, that's good advice.
Yeah. All right, man. Hotep and Bill.
Hotep and Bill. See you at Hotep Con. That's Hotep Nebuchadnezzar on a check-in. Yeah, Rudy got knighted. Rudy is now a mod on the channel. I noticed he streamed yesterday too. How often does HJ stream through the week? Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. right here. Same time, same place, 2 p.m. This is the Grift Report. I reach in the Grift bag, pull out topics, and we talk about them. And then we open up phone lines. Sometimes the phone lines are only open for 30 minutes, an hour. Today we're running a little bit long because, well, I got time. I actually have time today. Some of my responsibilities. Well, my Thursdays, I kind of created Thursdays to be free because it's Hotep Thursday, and I wanted to prepare for our nightly show. So my day is pretty much open on these days. Lauren's in the chat. What up, Lauren? Hotep Dubes is back on Twitter. Make sure y'all follow Hotep Dubes on Twitter. Let's get his followers up. Nick Gammis says, I like the long locks like a princess. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate the compliment. You know, no, don't delete his tweet. Why would you? Don't delete them. Let them troll. Only delete like super offensive stuff, man. You gotta let them live, man. It jigs the algo. You know, one thing I've always said is when a man comments on another man's look, it's probably homo. You know, it's really homo to comment on another man's look, especially his hair, you know? So like, Nick, you gotta do better, man. You gotta do better. But yeah, I got long hair, you know. Chicks dig it, you know. So Matt Earth said, HJ, you pretty as hell. Thank you. I like being a pretty person.
That Hotep Jesus dude.
Old people get triggered off anything, HJ. Yeah, that's true. Eric said I'm a good looking dude. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. I want to continue to stay looking good. I try to take care of myself, and I want to be pretty as long as possible. You know, so I appreciate that. He been in here too long, HJ. We gave him plenty. We got a caller in.
Call from
AK Kamara.
AK Kamara, what's up, man? Talk to me, bro.
Hey, what up, Hotep? What up, man?
What's good? Talk to me.
You know, you talked about, you know, a couple of things. What I think is interesting, you know, the manosphere, whatever. I get a kick off of these cats. Like, my perspective is people got to learn stuff, right? Like, I got hooked up with my old lady when I was 18, and then we got married when I was 20, and we're about to celebrate 19 years together. Right? We've been married almost 19 years. And what I think is so funny is, like, there is this like, emptiness where, like, people, for some reason, don't know what it means to be a man of high value. Like to me, that was intrinsic.
Okay.
Like, I think that is, like, there's, like, a natural affinity to understand, like, what does it mean to be a man.
Well, let me cut you off. Did you have your dad in your life?
In and out.
Okay, continue.
So, you know.
Did you play sports?
I played sports, yeah.
What'd you play?
Football.
Okay. Usually that makes up for any absence of masculine energy. Continue.
And so for me, right, like, I saw how you can be, quote unquote, a man that just takes what he wants. And I always thought that that's just messed up because, like, throughout history, when you do that, when you play that selfish game, you actually end up hurting your long-term prospects of people, like, not stabbing you in the back, turning your back on you and everything like that. And so, like, when we start having these conversations talking about what does it mean to be a man of high order, it's still a trip to me to, like, sit and hear people give their expression if they themselves, like, haven't actually experienced a meaningful, fulfilling relationship. How are you going to be giving advice to someone that actually, you know, two people that haven't either? Like, if you got a great idea, you know, whatever, give your idea. So for me, when I hear people talk about this, it's just interesting to hear their solutions to these problems that they think exist. And a lot of them are just way off the mark, man. and I think it's a lived experience. And I'm not trying to be a leftist with that garbage kind of, you know, definition, but I'm just saying, like, if you look around you and you see a lot of people that are out there that are doing the man thing, right? Like, they've got a wife, they've got kids, they're making bread, they're making an impact. It was like they didn't have to go to class to learn how to do that. They just said, here are the things that are important to me that I want to protect. And to me, it's like, it's interesting to hear people try and give like some long definitions. So back to your point though, that it 100% is subjective, because every man has something different they want to protect, right? Like sometimes you got to protect your mom because maybe she's sick or old, or maybe you got a sister that's wayward that you got to protect, or maybe you got a nephew or whatever, right? Like to me, that's being a man. And of high order, go ahead.
Well, there's two things to unpack here. One is age, and the other one is proximity to masculinity. When a boy is raised by his mom, he becomes a bitch. He becomes a weak, insecure, and he lacks confidence. He just becomes a fucking simp, yo. It's fucking disgusting. You know, and my thing to women is, don't fucking baby your sons. Do not fucking baby your sons, because he just grows up to be a fucking bitch. You know, put that motherfucker in some sports. Put him in football. If you don't have a man in his life, put him in sports so there can be a strong masculine presence in his life. Put him in football, basketball, soccer, MMA, boxing, so you know he can have that presence in his life. So when you say it's intrinsic, it's not. A boy needs to see a man to know how to be a man.
Hotep, you're a genius.
So
HotepJesus.com.
Let me push back just a little bit. Now, I agree that when you put a bunch of men together, there is this natural thing that occurs. So that's why I say intrinsic, right? If I put a bunch of men together, like none of those men had to learn to be a man. It's just there's something that happens when you have this bond with other males.
But that's
so
what I
mean.
But you're not. But that's not pushback, because that's what I said. I said you have to have close proximity to other men in order for that masculinity to foster.
Right. So let me unpack what I meant then. Is that when I say intrinsic, this is something that no one has to teach any of the men in that group of what it means to be a man. Like if you got 10 men together and you have them play any type of competitive anything, whether it's physical or mental, you're going to get this natural hierarchy that develops. And not because anyone taught like, oh, I'm going to teach you what it means to have a hierarchy. So that's what I mean. But yes, you do need other men, a strong, male presence for sure. But I don't think that it has to be like, here's your textbook, or like, let me teach you these lessons of what it means to be a man. So that's why I say, like,
well,
there's nothing wrong.
Here's the issue with that statement, right? Because there does need to be manuals. There does need to be different guidebooks, ebooks, and literature on the subject matter. Because for the person who doesn't have a close proximity to information, they can pick up The Rational Male or Unbreakable Rules of Masculinity or Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. These things do need to exist. Men do need to read the 48 Laws of Power, The Art of War by Sun Tzu. These things have to be consumed because your father can't give you everything masculine. You have to learn from other men, and sometimes men don't have that close proximity. For example, I grew up and I had game because I'm naturally charismatic, but I also read Neil Strauss's book, The Game. Did I, practice everything in that book? No. Some of this shit, I'm definitely not doing that. But it helped me understand what game was. It helped me understand what I was doing right and what I was doing wrong. So I'm reading a book and I'm like, oh, I naturally do that. So I know to weigh down on that. So, I love the work of Rollo Tomassi. I wrote the book Unbreakable Rules of Masculinity. And I have moms that are like, I bought this book, I read it, and now I'm giving it to my son. And parents give their sons my book because they think it's a great manual. And I think people need that, especially when there's no masculine energy in their life.
So I agree with that, but I just think that maybe the way that we're framing things is just a little bit different. So my perspective, right, is that you're talking about teaching men not how to be a man of high value, but just like how to be a man, right? So to me, that's where the subjective high value thing comes in, is that you're talking about
now you're getting into semantics.
So again, right, like you can't teach. There's not a one-size-fits-all how to be a man, right? We both agree with that.
No, we don't. Okay. I think there's a one-size-fits-all to be a man. That's provision and protection. provision, protection, and power.
Right.
If you can't
But
protect, if you
those
can't
are
provide,
general ideas, though.
and you
I'm
can't
saying
harbor
those are
power,
general
you're not a
ideas.
man. Well, yeah. That's
Right, so those are
that's
general
very
principles.
general. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm saying that there's not like, oh, if you follow these 13 specific steps, that's how you become a man of high value. So, like, into the manosphere conversation, right? There's like the fast cars, get your bread right, and then you'll be able to find a broad that's going to be able to give you the things that you need. And that's what I'm talking about explicitly, is that, like, if you want to guide people to learn knowledge, the things that we've moved away from of having masculinity, which I agree that if you have no if you're raised in a society that is completely feminine, it's going to fuck everyone up, which is exactly what's happening right now, right?
Yeah.
There's all this femininity in which you're drowning out. Like, you got to have good balance. I think that women teach men not to just completely be just all the time, be all aggressive. At the same time, you know, I think that also comes from that other perspective, man. But hey, man, I got to roll, but I appreciate you letting me get on it and talk about this real quick, man.
No doubt. Yo, thanks for the call. Hotep and Bill. Yeah, somebody in chat said he's argumentatively agreeing. I think that happens a lot. You know, not with everybody, and I couldn't put a percentage with it, but sometimes, you know, people, they think they're disagreeing with you, but it's just like, nah, like, we're saying the same thing, bro. So I appreciate all my callers. I appreciate that. And yeah, I think being a man is a high value man. Like, if you're a man, you're a high value man, because you could be a man, but you're really a boy, or you're a bitch, right? You know, I think if we had to describe, if an alien race came here and said, what is it like being a man? I would say, nobody cares.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Nobody cares about you as a man. Like, being a man, like, nobody gives a shit about you. And you just got to work hard. You just got to, you know, nobody's going to give a damn about, you know, what happened to you, what bad happened to you. You know, a girl could be homeless and everybody throws her money. A guy, you know, he's homeless and he's like, yo, I need to go fund me, and nobody's throwing him any money. Like, nobody gives a damn about a man's problems. And that's, you know, that's, I just had two, I hate when I have two thoughts at the same time and I have to pick one. Nobody cares. Work hard. You know, what's the phrase that NFL football player has? You know, nobody cares. You know, how's that go? Chat. What was that? The NFL player, you know, he says, nobody cares, just work harder. I think that's what it is. Nobody cares, work harder. That's what it is to be a man. Like, nobody cares about your problems and your depression and all this shit. And you fucking do some push-ups, shut the fuck up, stop being a pussy, and just fucking work, bro. You know? But, you know, again, I had a dad, and, you know, my dad he was brutal. You know, he was a military dad, you know, and kicked my ass a lot. He didn't accept no bitch shit. You know, went upside my head. Quick. I had to cut grass. I remember one time I didn't cut the grass and I was terrified. Do boys even cut grass anymore? I went with him on jobs. We built houses together. Imagine being a boy, 10 years old, and you're on a job site for 5 hours. That was terrible. I hated it. I wanted to play. It's on a job site, fucking running wire through a wall. You know, my dad's like, is it there? No. You're yelling at him through the wall. No, right there. Yeah, that's it. Drilling, hammering, 10 years old. You know, I had to fight. You know, I was an only child. I had to fight. I was signed up for martial arts. You know, I did martial arts for 4 or 5 years. I can't remember. I think I stopped when I was 16. I wrestled for a couple of years. I played sports. I was an athlete. I was a 3-sport athlete. Not in high school, but I played for several towns. Like, I wrestled for this town. I played soccer for this town. And, you know, I was a 3-sport athlete, you know. I was athletic. And my dad, he used to curse me out religiously. Like, that was, you know, And I thanked him, you know, he had his birthday this year, and, you know, I thanked him for those moments where I hated him. I wanted him to fucking die. And in hindsight, I'm like, damn, thank God he did that, because I'd be a fucking bitch. And I hear from men who don't have their fathers in their life, and when they be talking, I just be like, yo, what the fuck, bro? Like, you sound like a whole bitch. But at the same time, like, my logical mind is like, yo, you got to be easy. He didn't have a dad in his life. And this is what you get. You know, you get a bitch. And I feel bad. And I think we need to have more masculine groups for these people to be a part of so they can stop being a bitch. And, you know, I think sometimes the military, you know, makes a man out of some guys. My dad was a military dad, so it was like I was in the military, you know. I mean, when I played international football, I remember those training sessions with my dad. Now, my dad in the military, one of his jobs was a physical trainer, right? So I was raised by a physical trainer. And if you looked at my dad today, he's in his 80s and the dude is cock diesel, right? And he goes to the doctor, and people his age and younger are walking in, like, you know, if they can walk in, you know, with canes and wheelchairs, and he can jog in, you know, he can run in if he wanted to. And he's just in great shape. But the point of the matter was, during those training sessions, I had tears and snot coming out of my eyes, and he would cuss me out. You know, I'd kick the ball, kick the fucking ball harder. I'd kick it harder, kick the fucking ball harder. Like, he didn't talk to me nice, you know? And I'd cry, and he'd stop fucking crying. Shut up. I don't want to hear that shit, you know? It was, some people will, today they would call it mental abuse. I would call it raising a man. Trish said that's the Aki and Kalaloo and Cassava. Fight Club is a metaphor. Facts. Yeah, I strongly suggest, like, if you weren't raised by a dad, go join a gym. Go get hit in the face. Go get choked out. You know? Because my dad did that. He beat my ass. He beat my ass consistently, mentally and physically. And it just came to the point where, like, nobody could mentally abuse me. Like, I remember I was at a job once. I told this story before. We were at the mortgage company, and I had a loan fall through, a loan for $500,000. That was about, on that loan, I think I had 2 points on it. So that was worth about $10K to me. Would have changed my life. Later, you know, before that I had a $20K month. But anyway, as a young kid, $10K, basically died right there in front of my face. I was a mortgage loan officer, broker, whatever you want to call it. And I'm a black kid in an office with a whole bunch of white men. And now I'm not saying this is as if it was a race thing. I'm just painting the picture for you. And the guy says to me, the guy that does the loan qualification, his name was Mike Bottles. Never really liked the guy. He goes, "Aren't you upset?" And I'm like, "Upset at what?" He was like, "Your loan just fell through. That was worth like $10K to you." And I was like, "It happens." And what happened was they thought I was trying to commit fraud because of how calm I was. Now, not only was I calm about the situation, I was also ignorant about the situation because the person who gave me the loan was committing fraud. So they thought, now it was a black dude too. So they thought I was in cahoots with the black dude that was trying to commit fraud back in those days if you got a good appraisal. So what happened was the appraisal for my loan was not approved by the bank's underwriter. So they thought I was in cahoots with the guy to bring in fraudulent appraisals. And really, I was just a 22-year-old kid who ain't know no better. I'm just trying to, you know, I'm just going through the steps of getting loans approved and trying to make a buck, you know. So, but the only reason why I was so calm is because my dad kicked my ass. So like really, what are you going to do to hurt me? You can't hurt me. You can't hurt me. You cannot beat my ass more than my dad did. It's just not possible. It's not possible. Back to the Rumble Super Chats. Jimmy Doss said, I waited 6 months to put Hotep in my name. Not because I wasn't bought in, but the last thing I wanted to do was hurt Hotep Nation without having a good enough grasp to be Hotep. Peace and perseverance. Now that's wise. I like that. Jimmy Doss is a good guy, but he's also a little bit older than Drelly and, you know, some of these other folks out here. So he's wise. So, and, you know, that's what you should do. You should wait and, you know, see and then say, okay, yeah, now I want to be a part of this organization and I want to be associated. Wonderful, wonderful stream today. You know, we started the show at 2, so we went 3 hours and 15 minutes today. Every day, 2 p.m. right here. This is the Grift Report. I'm gonna get Renee to make me a Grift Report banner at the bottom here, so we'll clean that up a little bit. I'll clean my screens up here, and it'll look better in the future. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. It's been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful experience. Hotep and Bill. See you at Hotep Con.
Didn't listen to me then, I bet they feel me now. Don't let me lose it. The booth not about to prove it. I set goals and pursue it. You the best to never do it. Invest my money, talking fluent, stupid, ducking the Judas. It broke my heart, but open my eyes. You have no honor, I have no choice. Chasing the commas till I'm a goner. Been left for a minute. On my way home, mama, I promise, got caught up in it. Damn. Everybody eats when I'm batting at the plate. First, second, third, home, $1 million bet.